Good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of Arcane Adventures. As always, before we jump into tonight's episode, we do have a few session announcements to get through. The first is your weekly reminder that we have quiz questions available every Tuesday and Friday under the post section of our YouTube channel, which is at arcane_adventures. You can also check out shorts released every Tuesday and Friday as well, highlighting the most iconic session moments out of context for your enjoyment on the internet. And lastly, if you are still up to date with us given last week. Um, we do apologize that we lost audio during our major combat against Karamira. Myself and a few of our wonderful players have recorded a recap video that is now also available, posted in conjunction with last week's session as well. So if you want to check that out and catch the recap, that we'll be fully up to date before continuing with this episode, you should absolutely do that. Thank you all. That is all the announcements I do have for this evening. So let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of Arcane Adventures. And welcome back. Last we left off, Lorem Ipsum was spending a little bit of time at the Hydro Haven when an unexpected return of Pura, followed by the even more unexpected return of Rancor, given the events of the night prior at the house of Gavivar Thieves and the unexpected fate that has befallen him. But with a perhaps a little bit of hope, Rancor was able to allude that he may have done a little bit of undoing of such work using Ozin. Um, he also gave the party and himself the opportunity to look through a hefty stack of papers as supplied by Mr. Thieves, perhaps alluding to a clue of some kind um, to where Karamira may be, the Bright Shadow. It was interrupting your assortment of files that a man that none of you have ever recognized or seen before entered into your private bed chambers here at the Hydrohaven, um, introducing himself as Ulsus and as an emissary of the Chancellor of Fenere, that would be Chancellor Indithan Namigoth, um, providing you some kind of letter as that um, she was going on a bit of a branch, a little bit of a whim, trying to take a risk and support your group after accounting that if people in Provenere believed in your group, perhaps she should as well. Um, and perhaps we'll explore more on that in a later time. However, Ulsus was able to provide a little bit more insight on the file sorting and give us a clue as to where the hideout of Karamira could be, being the Watermouth intake facility to the south of Hydroxylvexin. So, after splitting the party to investigate a few other stops along the way, we made our way to the remote facility outside of the city, um, which handles the water control levels of Vestment Lake, the drainage, and also the intake into the city's hydrostructure. A very important job, but staffed by very few individuals. It is also there that you had a odd, perhaps first meeting with Director Orstric Felmar, a gnome that, after getting through the rocky introductions, was reluctant but agreed upon helping all of you navigate through the facility, investigating for any possible signs for the Bright Shadow. After taking you through the filtration centers and the engine room, taking you down to the generator, is what he called it. Something that powers the giant pipeline outside, it siphons water outside of Vestment Lake. Um, and it was there that Sizik actually found in the elevator that one of the buttons was not quite screwed on correctly. And after removing that, Altrix and him calling over the director and the rest of the party, flipping that switch and finding that the elevator on the lowest floor actually went quite a bit deeper, but not to the director's knowledge. It opened into a subterranean cavern where we found the insignia that Ulsus had provided of the Bright Shadows code organization symbol, painted on the side of the wall, and also a body, a corpse that had been medically altered. Um, it was also, as we explored further, we tried to keep a veil of surprise, which worked temporarily, but did not last forever. And a tumultuous combat with the Bright Shadow and her non civilians did unfold. It was a rocky combat. and it took a great toll on all of you. However, thankfully, none of you have perished anything beyond some minor flesh wounds. And so as we begin today, we pick up in the immediate aftermath of the slaying of the Bright Shadow and the takedown of her facility after the detonations of the reactor in the room, a small hydroelectric powered reactor, not an actual nuclear reactor. We also found a gelatinous cube. That's important to mention. For maybe later. I mean, maybe someone in Provenary is looking for it, but we'll find out. Nonetheless, Ulysses has let you all know that you should gather what you could from here in the surgical center of the Karamira, and take what you will before he must make a final report to the Waveguard and the Chancellor, and have them officially assume possession of the investigation and take over this area. But that being said, however, it is in these very moments, not but minutes after this combat has ended, that we begin our session this evening. As we begin Chapter 6, Episode 6, Ripples in the Rain. So, I do know that Rancor has ventured over to the corpse of Karamira and has taken kind of solace standing over the body for a moment before starting to kick the body in anger. He will probably continue for some time unless one of you chooses to intervene.
We're gonna let him that one off.
Okay.
Yeah, this one. I think this was a okay kill. I guess sort of, as we're in this room, we can't stick around forever. We kind of looted most of everything. I guess while I'm here, could I rummage around some of these mechanicals?
Sure.
See if I can, because they have these mechanicals. Just looking for any signs of their origin.
Okay.
I thought you were scrapping for parts.
Right.
I mean, may as well as well.
Right. When I gave you your parts list, that
yeah,
was
I
included
figured.
in that list. Yeah. Okay. So, when you say you're looking for the origin, can you be more specific about what you're looking for?
Looking for any indications of maybe, mark of a creator, a signature piece, signet, or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so like
Right.
that stuff they stamp on things, like
Yes.
the pipe, for example.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you roll to investigate that. You do find the insignia of the Bright Shadow that has been impressed on kind of the lower back hip of the mechanicals, almost as if an area that you would be branded in, and that is kind of the mark of her creation. Now you don't recall seeing that on Ulysses, obviously, but he had flesh over his mechanical interior. And so perhaps if you had looked further, or if you want to look further before he departs, you could maybe find that. But you definitely do find some mark that Karamira is responsible for creating them.
Just a mark of Karamira, no like a Provenary steel mill or something?
No.
Had to ask.
Nice try. Yes.
Okay. I guess with that sort of taken care of, I'll just start making notes and drawings on like a lot of the devices in this room.
Okay. Anybody else? What would you like to do in the interim?
I ponder my orb of time. What time is it, Mason?
It is mid-afternoon.
Okay, thank you. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
I wanted to.
Who told them what it did?
I think he just ponders it for like an hour, and then that's all he walks out with.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what it is. It's like you look at it, and it's like a magic 8-ball, and it just says afternoon on.
No, Owunul tries to shake it, like, because he doesn't know what it does. He thinks it might be a magic 8-ball. It's like, wait,
afternoon.
But it takes like 30 minutes for it to pop up.
Yeah. Sure, for sure.
The orb has to ponder time itself first.
Because he shook it. Normally it's immediate.
The orbs, it's doing the equivalent of like putting the finger in your mouth and like, Where's the wind coming from? Oh, it's that way.
Yes.
Checking the
So
chat.
Paloma,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
It's a broken orb of time. It's always late afternoon.
Even a broken orb of time is right twice a day.
No, it's only right
because
once.
it's not cyclical, so it's only bright once a day.
If it just
It's only
says-
once.
Oh, you're right, because it just says afternoon, so it's only right one time a day.
Oh well.
I will. I don't know. I'll be investigating how the hell we can get this. Gelatinous cube back
Sure.
to Provenary.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
We have 2 bags of holding.
It's
We
not
do,
big enough.
But the thing
It's all I'm
is,
Not
saying.
important.
how do we touch it?
We don't.
Anna, can you possibly justify this as animal handling?
No, you cannot. It's an
Why?
ooze.
Aw, come on.
You should have Owunul handle it. He can take it.
You have almost melted several times.
It'll be fine. It never killed me.
17.
17. All right, so Paloma, you think about for a little bit just kind of the layout of this facility. The caverns themselves probably natural, chipped away for sure and toned up a little bit, but at least some kind of pocket in the underground. Obviously, the elevator shaft is a method of perhaps getting the gelatinous cube out. However, in order to operate the elevator shaft, you would have to be in the gelatinous cube because the gelatinous cube would take up every cubic inch of the elevator shaft. So you're thinking that
You
might
could just
it might be a
on.
viable plan, but not quite
Idea.
one. However, upon investigating further, you're looking at the water. There's a giant hole in the far end of the cavern where water is gushing over a water wheel that's was powering most of the lights and contraptions here in the facility. But it dawns on you, where is that water going? It has to go somewhere, otherwise it would flood the underground chamber. So you begin to look around a little bit and find that there's this little bridge that leads away from the main cavern into the room where the gelatinous cube is. And there's almost a grate that kind of sits over that people walk across. But below that, if you were actually to look further, you wouldn't have noticed it, during the combat. But now that you're investigating, there's actually a pipe, almost a natural pipe that's been carved out by the force of the water over time, and it's quite large. Actually, it goes further down into the ground, but that water's going somewhere. And it seems it slows down when you're listening to it. You kind of put your head down, looking, listening. Seems the water slows down a bit, so perhaps that is the most viable plan. You're not sure how they got the gelatinous cube down here, or whether it was down here when they found the place. But there's got to be a way that the gelatinous cube, whether they put it here or it got here itself, that it came from somewhere. So with the 17, I think I'll leave you with that to think about.
Cube.
How big is the tunnel that's leaving that the water's going out?
Yeah, it is. It's probably 14 feet across. Big enough for you and Gelatinous Cube to go down side by side. Now, it is mostly water, but there does seem to be a small, very narrow footpath ledge that kind of follows along the water as it goes down into that. So you could get down there if you wished.
Hey, y'all think it'd be possible to lead the gelatinous cube down this tunnel? I don't know if they have brains or if they can be led anywhere, but
I mean, it doesn't look like it moved itself. It looks like it's just kind of sitting there, waiting for more bodies, I guess.
Well, I feel like if it doesn't need to move, it won't. The director of this facility, he had mentioned there's a water leak. And I think it's fair to assume this is likely where that water's going. Meaning, perhaps there's a way we can turn it off?
Maybe?
Maybe.
Or
I mean, there are a lot of valves in here. Maybe one of them shuts off the water. At least I assume there are a lot of valves in here. I don't know. Are there any?
There are.
Okay.
Mason, you said there was a like it's like a sewer system where like it's mostly water and then there's a little path on the side.
But it's a naturally occurring, most likely, that the water has pushed its way through. But yes, basically that.
I wonder if we don't even need to turn the water off. Cause like I don't think the cube needs to breathe. And there's a path over here.
Would it not dissolve?
Would it dissolve, Mason?
None of you have ever seen a gelatinous cube, so you don't know.
Was it in that monster
Well, the
facility?
the people who weren't here.
Yeah. Who read that book?
The people who are not here. It was
Right,
literally.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I don't think you guys would know.
Well,
Owunul ponders the orb of time.
Afternoon.
Okay.
Whoa!
Hear me out, guys. The
Guys.
government is going to come down here and take everything we don't, right?
They can certainly try. I don't know how much luck they're gonna have with the cube,
I mean,
though.
we wait for them to get the gelatinous cube out.
You assume they're going to.
You think they're just going to leave it here?
I mean,
or
if it's not
they might-
hurting anyone,
they might, unfortunately, they might kill it so they can get the bodies out.
they might want to identify the bodies. This is true.
I don't know how many bodies are going to still
Also,
be
I
here
don't
by
know
the
how-
time they show up.
I don't know if you can kill a gelatinous cube. Like, if the whole thing,
You can kill anything.
it's barely alive. It's a pile of jello that is absurdly large. No one would ever eat that much jello. It's silly. Is it alive? I don't know that it is.
Let's start turning valves and seeing if we can turn the water off.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Owunul
I
is
guess
going
I'll
to
do
go
like
turn
an
a valve.
investigation check to like look
Sure.
around, see if there's a water shut off.
Owunul is not going to investigate. He's just going to turn one valve.
Yeah. You turn a valve off to one of like the smaller pipes, and you hear the water inside just like back up. But it didn't help you in terms of the massive water pouring in. So you could probably open that one again and just let it be.
Investigation. That's a mod 20.
Mod 20. If you go over to, you have to actually wade in the water where the water wheel is. It's very shallow, maybe a foot deep. And it while it is gushing in, it's only like a mild current because the slope isn't that impressive. It's just like the water is pretty mildly moving around the side of the facility, and then draining through that I guess output that Paloma found. But underneath the water wheel, which is like behind the waterfall that's coming in, there is a rather large wheel valve that seems to be running vertically. The pipe seems to kind of come in from below and then pump upward, as if it's going into the city. You can do your best to turn that off, although the wheel itself is probably your arm span wide.
Hey, buddy.
Oh no.
Yeah? What you
Turn
got?
this one.
Okay. I will begin turning the wheel.
And the sound of rust grinding, as this valve has probably never been touched in 30 years or more. Just you have to slowly turn it, but it does eventually give way. I'm not gonna make you roll a strength
Actually,
check.
you see a little bit of rust fall off onto Owunul's armor and then immediately just like go poof.
Nice.
Because the armor is never dirty, only clean.
Yes, love it.
You said strength
No,
check.
I'm not gonna make you roll a strength check. Because you will
Is it because I'm a buff boy and I drank my milk growing up?
Yeah, that's correct. And so you turn the water off, and slowly but surely the leak, if you will, um, it slowly shuts off, and the water wheel stops spinning, and the water kind of slowly starts to drain out of the chamber. It takes probably 20 minutes or so for the water to fully drain out, and leaving just a damp, rocky riverbed kind of flowing around the facility.
The lights slowly fade and then just kind of turn
Well,
out.
Well, the lights blew up when the reactor
Oh,
detonated.
right.
So there
Yeah,
were
never
no
mind.
lights, period. Yeah, you guys have been using your magical light to
Oh,
navigate
right.
around
I
in this
cast
very
light on
dark,
myself. I forgot about that.
yeah, super dark space down here without that. So,
I am a shining beacon of light. Yes.
Well, has that made us any progress?
It looks like the water is stopping. It's not. It's not going as fast. It's not as loud either. I can talk like at a normal volume now, and it'd be fine.
Well, I guess that's improvement.
I wonder if we checked back with the other guy, if he'd be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, the readings are fine now." We should go check with him.
Well, I'm sure he'll have to go back up to confirm that.
But yeah, once we're done here, we can go and tell him all that and go back up.
Yeah,
If he's still waiting for us and hasn't just decided that we're probably dead by now.
you checked in with him.
You were supposed to. Did you not?
What does the orb have to say about this?
Oh my god.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
afternoon.
Shit, I'm on my own. Okay, yeah, I did. I did check up with him. I forgot though that I had done that, but I remembered, so it's all good.
Okay. We'll unpack that one later.
Owner's intelligence goes down by 1.
Well, any other ideas on how to lead or get this thing out?
Let me. What do I have at my disposal here? I have a horse. I don't know how that's gonna help us.
Actually, your horse isn't with you.
I have an on-demand horse, and I still have a bunch of my spell slots, which is really funny. I've only used one second level spell since the last long rest. I wonder how that happened.
Well, if y'all don't see any other means of getting that thing out of that room through the narrow hallway.
Wait, but so like that water that we just shut off, right? Like it was going somewheres. So what if I don't know if it would be safe, but what if one of us like it figured out where it went?
I guess we could just scout out that tunnel, see if it actually leads to a way out.
I mean, what's the water at now? Is it like
It's receding. The main room is just damp. The water is no longer flowing. So that
Like-
tunnel, that external tunnel, that drain of some kind, is no longer flowing.
I mean,
Well, I guess we could, again, scout it out, just make sure that actually leads there.
I mean, it could be that it like narrows to the point where we can't cross it, but I guess we won't know unless we go and check.
Yep. I'll just proceed down that path.
Yeah.
Sizik, what are you doing?
Just sitting.
So just to be clear though, me and Altrix are going down that path, right?
Yes, that is correct, I believe.
Okay.
Unless
Watching.
Paloma is going to go as well.
Yeah, but like I'm not gonna leave Sizik here.
Rancor gets tired of kicking Karamira, and storms off down the hallway.
Back towards
What's
the
he gonna go
elevator?
do next?
Yeah, back towards the elevator.
Oh, I thought he was gonna go punch the gelatinous cube to get more of his anger out. I know it wouldn't end well, but it would be funny.
Ulysses is still in the chamber, by the way, if anybody wants to talk to him at all. Still here.
Who is Ulysses?
The mechanical.
Oh, right, the guest character we had last time. Forgot. Sorry.
Yes.
Sizik, you wanna come with us and investigate this creepy tunnel?
Secret tunnel. I'm sorry, I had to.
No, it's okay. All right, the four of you, Rancor and Evadin and Pura kind of exit the room. Ulsus is surveying the facility. Eventually, Director Orshrik Felmar will kind of be led in by Ulsus into the chamber to kind of take a look at some things, so you can talk to him when you get back. But you all follow down this corridor, and it is, again, it's not steep. It's relatively flat for quite a while. You have to, it's a dark tunnel that is only illuminated by Owunul's light. And it probably leads off for 300 feet or so, maybe 400 feet. And it kind of takes a little bit of a decline, a little bit of a steep drop that you have to kind of make your way through. But eventually, the sound of rushing water, much louder than what you previously were listening to, in the chamber itself, is sourcing from ahead of you.
Okay, I'm gonna cast light down there.
Yeah.
Where I hear the rushing water coming from.
Yeah. So there is actually a pipe that comes in to the kind of the end of this chamber, and it's broken. And water doesn't seem to be coming out of the pipe, but the part of the pipe that would go on further is where the water from this facility was draining to. It seemed to be this cavern kind of leads into this pipe.
So it would so we don't know where it came from, but let's assume that there was a broken pipe somewhere. It kind of went through into whatever the pipe the Bright Shadow had.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it broke off and now it's rejoining. Here is what's happening.
Probably two separate pipes, because this pipe is off. And it seems to be dry. Water's probably never flowed down that pipe, or not flowed down that pipe in a long time. It just seems that this is a old part of ductwork that hasn't been used in forever. Probably forgotten.
I'm a bit unclear on the pipage and the fact that there's water noise, but there's no water in the pipe.
Right. You hear water coming from the other end of the pipe, down the pipe. Your cavern, however, has stopped at where this pipe is in the ground, and it slants down at probably a 30-degree incline.
So we're not in a pipe right now. We're in a cavern.
No, you're in the cave, and you have dead-ended where the mouth of a pipe is that was draining the water where you would be standing.
Okay.
How wide is this pipe?
Yeah, that.
Big enough for Sizik or Paloma to walk down. The two of you would have to sit down
about 3 feet.
Crawl. Yeah, not.
I will slide down the pipe. No,
I will just toss a rock down, just to here.
Wait! I want to cast light on the rock before he drops it down.
Sure. Cast light on a rock and chunk it down, and it falls down the pipe. Kind of bouncing off the metal walls, and then it's lost. It goes out of your vision.
And the light fades, I guess.
Yeah,
from our perspective.
You lose it.
Huh. Wait, how long does light last again? It's like a minute, right?
It's a minute.
Okay, that's unfortunate. Because I was gonna say, oh, sorry, no, light lasts an hour.
Okay, it's still out of your view.
Yeah.
We could go and try to find it.
Something.
What?
I don't know if it's a 30-degree incline down, so it's basically a slide.
Yeah.
I
will note that the rock did kind of flatten out. You saw the change in elevation, so it did kind of meet more of a horizontal approach. Not fully flat, but closer to 5 degrees after the incline.
Okay.
But yes, it is a pipe.
Loma, do you think you would be able to go down there, and if there's a problem, be able to climb back out?
Yeah, maybe.
We can also just tie a rope around her waist. That way we can pull her back up.
If we have that much rope.
Owunul has rope.
How much?
Let me
Oh,
let me
you know,
check
rope.
because I didn't
50 feet.
Let me check. Hold on.
How much rope you got?
Shut the fuck up.
6,000 feet.
That is an insane amount of rope.
Rope?
That's your whole
Wow.
inventory.
Bombs? You want it?
Rope,
It's yours.
rope oil.
It's
Have
just
enough
hemp and rope.
rupees.
I do, however, have a shovel.
All right,
What
so that's
shovel
not
do you?
what we need.
If you have 50 feet of rope and I have 50 feet of rope,
That's
We have-
500 feet of rope.
that would probably
Well,
yeah.
We don't
It's
know
more
how.
like 99 because you got to tie it together.
I guess
Shut
we
up,
don't know.
Owens.
We don't know how. I'm gonna tie the other end of these ropes around my waist. That way, I don't have to worry about like losing my
Holding onto
grip.
it. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm still gonna hold on to it, but I don't have to worry about losing my grip.
Okay.
And also, I don't wanna leave too much slack as she's going down. I want to like let her pull it along, but I don't want it to like just let it go because I want to be able to feel the tension in the rope. I guess tug or just well, if it tugs really hard, I'll know something has happened and I'll pull it back anyways.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
But like tug
Uh,
twice if it's like safe and you're at the end and you just want to go back up.
So I'll put on my goggles of dark vision and
Okay.
go down the pipe.
Okay. The slant, the 30-degree incline, goes for roughly 30 or 40 feet before leveling out again. You run out of rope pretty quickly. However, the pipe continues, and way down at the end of the pipe, there's daylight,
Oh.
like bright light.
Does she see the light
Yes.
from the rock?
No, that's gone.
Dang it.
You're still at it. You're still at an incline. Enough that things would keep moving.
So if I shout back up the pipe, do I think they could hear me?
Probably.
Probably, but there's also the deafening roar of rushing water that's coming up through the pipe. So you're like having to like cover your ears, or equivalent of ears.
I
you
have
have ears,
ears.
right?
They're just not
I
external
know.
ears.
I know.
Did the guy give us earphones?
Oh, he did also give us earphones.
He did. Yeah, you could just put those on. Okay. Okay, it's not as deafening, but
So I would like to untie the rope.
Okay.
And go towards the daylight.
Oh my god.
You follow daylight. The sound getting even louder and louder. It comes to a point where the earmuffs are the only thing that are keeping you from your eardrums just exploding, because it's just that loud. There is a metal grate, a ledge that the pipe runs right by as it opens, like one of those culverts that is. It's a half pipe at a certain point. So the bottom half is still extending, but the top half opens.
And it goes through
Or you
a
can.
grate?
No, there's a grate off to the side, as if a ledge, where someone could a worker of some kind.
Oh.
However, that entire setup becomes a whole lot less concerning when you reach the end of the pipe, which past the grate is about 3 feet. Before you look down, and there's at least a 300-foot drop, and you look up, and there's about 100 feet of water just cascading in, and you realize that this is the water mouth. You are standing in the actual drain. And there is cascading water on every side that is just falling down and tumbling into whatever lies below. This pipe is 300 feet across.
Okay. Then I will go back to where I left the rope.
'Kay.
And tie it back around myself.
'Kay.
And start making my way back to everyone else.
Okay, Owunul, you help pull the rope and with Paloma attached back up. Paloma, I will note that there was a ladder on that grate that kind of led up. You were able to actually get out that way, though it is very narrow. However, gelatinous cubes are known for being a little, I guess, versatile. when it comes to different spaces. They can kind of squeeze and morph because it's just gelatinous.
Can it climb a ladder?
You haven't seen it climb yet, but you've also not had no reason to climb yet. So perhaps maybe it could. I don't know.
If it can climb a ladder, why would it? That means it's not stuck in the sewers if we put it in the Provenary sewer.
Eh.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? If it tried to climb the ladder, it might melt the ladder. So, like, we don't.
It would take a while. Assuming it's a metal ladder.
Yeah.
Anyway, nonetheless, Paloma does make it back to the rest of your group.
Okay, and then I will describe everything I saw.
Oh.
So there is a. Okay.
There's
That's
a
way
big pipe.
out.
There's a big pipe.
It is
and-
important that we know where that leads to. That way, no one else can come back in here. Like we can seal that exit off.
Right. So should we all go down just so that we can make sure?
I
Like-
mean, is this how we're getting out that cube?
I mean, maybe. Is this how we want to get out the cube? Wait. We have to make sure that we can get it out from there, like onto the surface. Oh, wait.
Well, I guess the question
It's
is,
just as easy to coerce it into the elevator and push the button and send it up by itself.
What is
we
so,
would have to be. I don't know about that one. Because then we'd have to be in the elevator to push the button.
No, you can just reach around and push it.
You would have to reach through the cube. It would completely fill the elevator.
Okay, but like that feels easier than leading it down this pipe and getting it to climb a ladder.
How do we lead it in the first place?
I don't know.
How do you
like the
lead-
body part in front of it?
Here,
It
gelatinous
had-
cube. Here, jelly. You
It's
got
sitting
it.
on a mound of like 50 bodies. I don't.
It wants an arm.
Have you tried
all right,
just
and that's-
asking it if it wants to leave?
have you tried turning it off and back on again?
One last thing to consider. Either way we get it out. What do we do then?
That was what I was going to ask. If we try to transport it by cart, well, our cart is made of wood. I'm pretty sure slime eats wood.
Mason, you said it could squeeze itself down. Could we just
Oh, yeah.
attempt to shove it in the bag of holding?
It's way too big for the amount of cubic feet that the bag of holding holds, even with both of them.
Man.
Yeah.
What if we tried
it could
cutting it up?
reshape itself, but it's still the same amount of volume.
Bummer.
So what if we tried cutting bits and pieces off of it? Would it? I don't know how gelatinous cubes react to just being hit. Like, do they react?
Not
never
really. Yet I don't think we should try and break it.
Okay.
Whatever we do, can we figure it out like soon? I feel awful.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Are you low on hit points?
Yes, I just looked. I have one.
I'm gonna cast a second level Cure Wounds on you then. All right.
I feel slightly less awful.
Yeah.
Oh, those are not good numbers. Those are
Never
not good.
mind.
Oh my fucking
Still
god.
awful.
Okay, that's slightly better. The equivalent of 2 8s plus 4. 20. You get 20 hit points.
That's not bad.
I rolled a 1, a 2, a 6, and a 7.
Yeah.
The equivalent of 2
averages
8s.
out.
Yeah.
The equivalent
Yeah.
of 2 8s. Yeah.
Sizik, how are you doing?
Could be better, but I've also been worse.
All right. I suppose we'll need something to contain it in when we get up.
Put it in the siphon.
Again, no.
No,
I
thank
do not
you.
have any means of containing it in there, and it will eat everything, and nobody wants that.
It probably does.
No, I don't think it wants that either.
Yummy
it would
metal.
likely die.
Yummy components.
There are a lot of things in there that are not fit for consumption by any entity.
It's gonna hurt the cube, guys. We can't put it in there. It'll hurt itself.
Sure, we'll go with that. I suppose we'll just have to. Perhaps we can ask Ulsus about it, but maybe there's someone up top that we can talk to about containing creatures. I'm sure.
Maybe we can.
This isn't the first time someone's captured it.
Wait, so this is a big city, right?
Very.
Does it have any kind of airport or anything like that?
Like a skydock?
Yes, a skydock, like we have in Provenary.
No. It wasn't on the Skydock map.
Yeah. Sizik, make a history check.
Interesting.
I know my history.
That's it. I'm pondering my orb. What time is it, Mason?
Afternoon.
I'm so siphoning the orb.
Let's go. That's a 9.
A 9. Okay. Yeah, you have no idea. So no. Owunul, you'd have no clue. If there's a skydock. You don't recall seeing one. But who knows?
Well, although there's no Skydock, we did see an airship pass over us on the way here.
This is true. And we were on our southbound route, so maybe it was going.
Perhaps there's some private
Actually,
airships.
Can I try to remember what direction that ship was going?
It's going to Provenary.
Yeah, it was going towards Provenary.
From where?
From the south.
From the south.
Directly overhead of you.
And we didn't see any any sky docks on our way here.
Not that you can recall.
There's not on the map.
And we've been going basically straight south.
Pretty much.
And it was going the opposite direction of us.
Yes.
So then there should be a skydock somewhere in this general direction south of Provenary.
No. Well, there's not much south of south of Oshivester.
Then where the fuck was this ship coming from?
You don't need a skydock to have an airship.
This is true.
They're just really useful if you have a bunch. But again, there could be private airships.
That's true.
Like that one likely was.
Maybe we could ship it on a boat. I don't know how reliable that would be, but
shipping is less the issue of where do we put it on the. Like, it has to be in a container of sorts.
Yes.
Where do we get a 10-foot glass container to put this thing in?
We make it ourselves.
I wonder if they make containers specifically for stuff like this.
That's what I was saying. If they had one in Provenary before, that means this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been done before.
Welcome
to
Gelatinous Cube Shipping Company.
Let's
the Jellyco.
Figure out
Jellyco.
So Ulsus told us that once we leave, we won't be allowed back in, right?
Basically.
Okay.
Is that go ahead and take what you will, because once he informs the Chancellor and they come to assume possession.
Ulsus doesn't know about this tunnel.
Not yet, but he's still there, and he's probably gonna be wondering where the hell they went.
Yes, from Ulsus' perspective, everyone left.
He's just gonna eventually be like bored and be like, "Hey, I'm just gonna wander in here. What the heck's in here, anyways?" And be like, "Where the fuck are they?"
Slides down the pipe and dies.
So, what if Altrix, you go down the pipe, you climb out, figure out where it exits. The rest of us leave, and when he's like, "Hey, where's Altrix?" we just say, "Oh, he's in his siphon." And then
wait.
I don't think he knows what the siphon is.
Oh, you're right. Well, we could tell him. And then
how about you actually don't do that? Just say he's in the siphon, and then if he asks about it further, don't answer.
Okay.
Like, oh, it's a trade
it's a
secret.
thing.
We kind of can't tell you.
You know what? Explain it as scientifically as you remember.
Okay.
I think
that's
that'll
not
be
gonna
the
end
perfect
well.
explanation.
Extra dimensional portal space.
Using quantum reality.
It's like a
and
room.
Quantum particles.
Yeah, I'll explain it exactly as I remember.
It's like a bag of holding,
and
but it's
then-
not.
Shut up. And then we will come up with an explanation.
Wah.
On the spot. It'll be
Yeah,
funnier than
I'll
that.
leave it to y'all. I guess I'll head down the pipe.
I don't think he should head down alone. I feel like that's a bad idea.
Okay. Someone can go with
I'll
him then.
I'll go with him.
All right, that'll work.
And then, whenever
The
y'all get
two
the two
the
largest,
two the two largest
he
people
doesn't
go
know-
down.
He doesn't know that only you can go into the siphon and people have to go with you. So me and Sizik could go down the pipe, and you could just say that we're in your siphon.
I mean, that implies yes. All right, if you two want to go down the pipe, that's fine. Figure out where it exits. Remember it.
Yep, and then we'll come back with you.
Or we
Yeah.
just I know this is very unpaladin of me, but maybe we just lie and say a few of us died.
There are plenty of
Placing my
corpses in it.
hand on Owunul's shoulder. Owunul, I don't think this is as hard as we're making it.
You're right.
We
So
can
let's
just
just-
say they're not here right now.
Okay.
That's exactly what you could do.
And then if he asks, refuse to
No,
elaborate.
he's not going to ask. I don't think he cares.
All right.
Maybe he
Look,
doesn't remember all of us.
Paloma,
Maybe
Sizik, best of
he's
luck.
gonna-
Thanks.
I'm gonna go back to Ulsis.
he's gonna fail his history check. Be like, wait, were there 8 of you? No, surely there were only be 6, right? Didn't
So,
notice the 2 smaller ones.
Sizik, yeah, we slipped under his radar. So Sizik and I go
Sure.
down the pipe.
The two of you exit at the grate. There is a rickety old metal ladder that climbs up upwards where the water, is pouring into the drain. But we'll come back to that in a minute.
I would like to
Owunul.
take the rope that tied me to Owunul and instead tie Sizik to me.
I'll let you do that.
With
are you gonna
200 feet of rope.
No,
100 feet of work.
50.
Oh, 50. You let Owen will take his rope back? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so Owunul and Altrix, you return to the main chamber where Ulsis is speaking with Director Orshric. Orshric is, he's actually over at the far end looking at where the leak was. You hear him muffled or distant conversation with Ulsis saying that this is like one of the very important water supply lines to Oshia Vester. And they can't leave it off forever because otherwise the city will just start losing water. And so they're going to have to repair it. So he's going to have to go get his engineers and they're going to have to come back down here and fix it. Ulsis says that's fine. He's taking inventory. And then they are preparing to leave. Ulsis is preparing to leave whenever you get back. Any updates?
Not really. Most of the things we found in here. No really clues elsewhere.
Quite a mess of the place. I'll make my report to the Chancellor and let her know that you all did an excellent job.
Hey, so we got a gelatinous cube in the room over there.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Yeah. Funnily enough, in Provenere, they really need one. They had one in the sewers and it was killed.
The sewer cubes.
so-
Yes.
We were thinking about, we could just grab that, get it their way.
That's fine with me.
They have. Oh, that's the thing. Any ideas how to get it out and get it to Provenere?
That's a bit of a interesting question, I suppose. Not much of an engineer myself, but well, first we need to get out of that pit. I would assume, since it's not a smooth wall, that it can climb the pit if it is given reason to do so. That might need some assistance, but we could probably try. Where are we gonna go though after that? How you gonna put it in the elevator? I don't think it'll fit in there.
Again, I think we have an idea on maybe how to get out of here. I guess it's just more so once it's out of this facility,
Right.
how do we get it to Provenere?
Yeah. I'm sure they're shipping containers of all sizes that get packaged onto airships and shipping lanes as well that travel internationally. So I wouldn't think it that far-fetched to find a crate that fits your exact size and put it in there and then carry it with you. I don't have an exact recommendation. I've never actually been to Provenere myself, but at least that I can't recall that I've been. But
Okay.
I think you could ship it in just a box.
Just
But
in a
probably
box. We won't
probably a
eat the
s-
box.
well, probably a sturdy metal box, but
Okay. Any ideas on like how to like lead it? I guess sort of anywhere.
um, I mean, they like organic matter. From my understanding, that's why they're used in type of environment such as this, especially when you have a lot of organic matter to get rid of. So, I suppose if you supply it with enough organic matter, entice it. I don't think it really has a brain, or really thinks. I think it just kind of happens magically in an organic fashion.
Okay.
I think you could lead it out that way.
All right.
I
Well,
would
we
like to
have a
mention-
tunnel leading out that way. We're thinking we could probably get it down. So if we, Owunul, I guess if we just get it up top right now, I know you have to get the water back on here soon. But if you could just leave it off till we are clear of that.
I mean, the director Orshik, who is actually leaving, right? You see him like exiting, kind of waves at all of you, thanking you for taking care of this. I hit my microphone, sorry. But he kind of waves at all of you, thanking you, and then he's actually going to gather some of his hydro engineers, and they're going to come down here and try to patch this hole up as fast as they can. But I will assume it will take several hours to do that. So
All right, that should be enough time. Okay, organic. There were some bodies up in the hallway, as well as.
along
I
with
mean,
the
we
corpses.
could use some of these.
Yeah,
guys.
gesture to the number of corpses in the room that you're standing in.
I think
guess
we
so-
should use. Shit.
So the problem is maybe they want to identify these ones. The ones up top are not
Yeah.
identifiable.
If it's not identifiable, then I think it is more ethical to use those. I do not want to use the bodies that I can still identify, or that they can still identify, because I want the families to be able to know that the people they.
I mean, they
look at
have.
died.
We mentioned like there was like a log of patients, and I'm assuming there's also just a log of not high value patients. There's just of random people.
Yeah, probably. You
Yeah.
probably find one.
So we can just use that as reference.
Right. Okay.
Very odd for them to do something terrible and then keep detailed notes. Like it kind of just like is like a huge admission of guilt.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It's a little odd, almost too odd, but I'll make sure
Yeah.
to note that in my report to the Chancellor.
All right.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate our surprise investigation?
I think you did quite well. I know it was a little bit difficult to actually get into this chamber, but I thought you all handled yourselves quite well. I think the Chancellor will be quite pleased with that information.
All right. Well, no, let's get some of those bodies, get the cube out, and I don't know, maybe I can kill Evadin later.
What for? Wait, what?
Oh.
I'm so confused.
You don't remember Evadin leading me into the room and then me getting tased?
Oh,
Apparently
yeah.
no reason. Didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have a word with her.
I don't.
I'm sorry. I'm out of it right now.
As we all
Yeah,
are.
bodies.
Very well.
Yeah, that ought to bring you back to reality. Bodies.
Is there any other thing of note that any of you needed me to help you, aid you in any way, or anything other to report before I also exit and begin making my way back to the Casca Dance?
I might recommend. I mean, I know this is a one-time thing, as far as we know, where like you have someone like hiding in your facility, but I would recommend you also telling the Chancellor to communicate to other like important places if they're experiencing like unusual events, like not having enough water, then they need to do a thorough inspection of everything, because like we missed it this time. We got here and we did good, but I still feel as though like more could have been done. Like if
Who knows how many other cities we are not at.
Yeah. So I
Very
would just
fair.
try to communicate that as far up the authority chain as possible to spread that information around to get people aware that these kinds of people can operate right under your noses.
Also, on a similar note, the potential for mechanical duplicates, such as yourself. Back in Provenaria, we had one that was attempting to imitate one of the members of the council. It is, and between that and these devices for memory transference, it seems that perhaps maybe their goal is to replace key figures in cities.
I suppose that's a fair assumption. I will make note of that. Both of those things to the Chancellor.
How do you test if someone is a mechanical or not? Because like from the outside, you look about the same, right?
That exactly. I would call Karamira clever.
Well,
but
I think if you, I believe
Magic.
magic. The presence of magic, whether it's the person itself, if it can't be explained by some other means, like if there's, like for you, for example, I do believe, I don't know if Rancor mentioned it to me, but it would seem as though there is a variety of magics at play here, whereas with most people, if there is magic at play, it's like, oh, it's your spell book, because you're a wizard. And then you take that away and it's obvious that the book is what's holding all the magic. Just gotta check magically what's going on.
I actually went back to check some of those corpses while I was going to see the director.
Ooh.
I don't believe that we fully pulled them from those body bags, but they are missing quite a bit of flesh in certain places of the body. It's very odd. And as he picks up, kind of near one of the tables, picks up a vial of what Altrix knows is the acid. I would suspect, as he kind of swirls around and looks at it, that this, along with some other combination of chemical and magical treatments, allows you to transfuse the skin of a living organism onto a mechanical. That's just my theory, however.
Huh.
Because
Acid.
he
That's
pulls at his own skin, and it does feel different than a normal human, but it looks real. This is some kind of treated exoskeletal device, a graft of some kind that isn't. It is real, but it's almost not real. It's hard to explain. I'm just beginning to put these pieces together, but I would suspect some kind of magically treated, chemically treated, real flesh. That's odd to say out loud.
What does the orb have to say about this?
Afternoon.
Thank you, Mason, for indulging me this long.
how much
Oh,
did the orb weigh?
Like 1 pound.
1 pound. I'm gonna use my last spell slot for a second level catapult as I launch the orb.
You have to be holding the orb, silly goose.
No, it's
Not for-
catapult. You
Catapult.
Just...
It's within 30 feet. Actually, it's even larger because I have spell sniper.
Wait,
But
so
no, I won't.
can
do
you do that to an object that someone else is holding?
that. Unfortunately, yeah, it's you cannot be
an
equipped.
object not being worn or carried.
Yeah, so I cannot do it. Unfortunately,
But it would be really fun.
it would be really funny.
Flies and smashes.
Owen was like, "No!"
I will
Very well.
hold on to my last spell slot.
I will.
All right. Well, let's. God, acid to remove flesh. I feel like there's better ways of doing that. Oh,
yeah,
well.
I mean, I'm not a scientist or an alchemist, so I couldn't tell you.
Maybe his
I don't know.
flesh is not actually flesh. Like if you have some kind of mold or something, some kind of, I don't know, chemical mold where it just like holds the shape and color, but you get rid of the actual biological
The
components.
thing is that it's still alive because there's still pores. It's just odd. Honestly, he looks at you, Altrix. Maybe perhaps the acid is used to fuse the base of the flesh onto the metal. I don't know. Again, I'm just speculating.
I guess the acid could corrode the metal into a more adhesive surface.
Interesting.
But
It is.
you would still need, I guess, a degree of probably necromancy to keep the flesh alive.
Yes, I am. It is stomach wrenching nonetheless to think about, and to think that I am of that creation.
All right.
I am wearing someone else's skin. Nonetheless, I digress. I will be taking my leave at this point. If you wish to ride up with me in the elevator, you may do so.
We'll work on getting that slime out of here.
Okay. I do believe we have to wait for the director to come back, as there's no way to call the elevator down here again.
We'll leave you to it. Owunul, let's start getting some of these bodies.
All right.
Okay,
Do we want to
exits.
leave a trail to the elevator?
Yeah,
Or...
and you know what? If we leave a trail of, honestly, if we just only do like parts, we can really make it like last.
Okay, but
Uh,
we are going to have to move a lot of the bodies because otherwise it's just going to stay where it is because it has plenty of bodies right there.
We'll figure it out. And I guess
Sure.
I'll just go collecting some bodies to create like a trail.
No, just to clarify, you are leading it down that tunnel, or you're just trying to get it out of the pit right now?
Yes.
I think we'll set it up like starting at the tunnel. That way it's not chasing us as we're doing bodies.
Right.
Like starting at the pipe, I guess.
Okay.
Um,
And go backwards, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know that it can chase us. It just looks like a...
I don't know how fast that thing is, and I am not in the mood for getting chased by a giant translucent slime.
Understood. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Also, are you missing a large amount of hit points at all, or are you good?
I am fine.
Cool, cool.
I'll just say you don't have to make an insight check. Altrix is at 0 hit points.
Right then. Okay.
I am still critically injured.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
give
you've been like limping around. You're like, please help.
I'm gonna give you a second level cure wound there, bud. Let's see what we get for you. Not the best. 16 total.
Cool. I still have a death save.
Oh my fucking... You know what? Okay. All right there, bud. Okay. Healing hands. 7 more hit points.
7, 16, 23, so I'm at 3 health.
Yeah.
And then a first level cure wounds.
There's a bunch of divine light. It's just pulsating from the
Oh, do I
chamber.
still have... Is it until a long rest that my HP has been reduced?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
9.
I just want to make sure so I don't mark it right now.
17 more hit points.
All right, we're up to 20 now.
And then I'm gonna use the first level cure wounds on myself because
Okay.
I also need it.
Okay. Well, while you do that, you all line limbs and body parts down the hallway. Owunul did make a good point. You will probably need to remove most of the corpses from the pit by like fishing them out so that the gelatinous cube doesn't just sit there forever.
Oh, I have a plan for that.
Okay. But nonetheless.
Yeah, so essentially we were able to create this path kind of like no problem.
Yeah, I mean it's lengthy. It kind of snakes its way up and around, but it is done. You've
All right.
basically used every probably most of the corpses from the chamber of the bad guys, and some of the corpses from not the bad guys. From the
We're gonna choose the least recognizable corpses first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
I will say occasionally Altrix, just so tired, will just grab like one of Kiramira's, freaking goons, and we'll just be like, close enough, and just
Yeah.
take like a finger hand off or something.
Sure. Okay.
And then finally, as we get to the chamber, I will have Altrix convert the maw into a independent unit.
Okay.
And kind of have it crawl down the slide.
Yeah.
And then just sitting at the top of the slide, I want it to just constantly flamethrower the bodies in the room.
Just burn them all. Okay.
Yes.
Sure. So the stench of, if you've ever had to smell burning flesh, it's not a pleasant smell. But the chamber is full of it. After just a few minutes of just bags and flesh already decomposing, that was being eaten by the gelatinous cube, but just now just burning, and being singed into ashes, leaving just the tarnished skeletons behind. And even that begins to break down and crack and crumble.
But not the teeth, though. Not yet.
But not that teeth.
Yep. So we're just sitting in this room that's now filling with smoke and the
Owunul-
stench of just
Owunul
a
was like
rubbery leather.
Yeah.
Owunul's like looking at you like, what the fuck did you just do?
Got rid of its food.
Okay, then.
Now it has no reason to sit there.
Yeah, but somebody might have cared about those bodies.
Who? They were already gonna be dissolved if we left.
Well, if we're gonna be taking the cube with us, then maybe the families
I
would like
mean-
to know, you know?
Oh yeah, they want to see their mutilated and half dissolved families.
You don't get to make that choice for them. That's not right.
It doesn't matter.
I would argue that it does.
Besides, as we've seen from up top, they likely took families in their entirety. I mean, at the end of the day, the body is just the body. If they want to see the charred remains on the ground, that's up to them.
Huh. Okay, then.
Well, while you ponder that, as this whole process is going to take probably an hour and a half, we'll cut to Paloma and Sizik, who are climbing the ladder. Now, again, it's a substantial climb. Now, Sizik, since you're attached to Paloma, I won't make you make any athletics checks or acrobatics checks, since you're kind of a fixed. But Paloma, I will have you. I will let you choose athletics or acrobatics.
I'm
She begins
obviously choosing acrobatics.
I know you are. I'm very much well aware.
Sizik is not climbing the ladder, just hanging
He's
beneath Paloma 50
He's just
feet.
hanging like, just like slowly being pulled up. It's just dead weight. That's why it's taking Paloma so long.
Okay.
It's not dead weight until it's dead.
You can go boneless.
I can go boneless.
All right, Anna, what do you got?
Oh, that is awesome. 26.
I thought you were gonna say that. Oh, that's so bad. Be like natural one.
No.
And
thank God
Paloma
it
and
was
Sizik
19.
fall and die. Okay. Again, it's a 100-foot tall rickety ladder. There are several portions where occasionally one of the rungs will snap because it's just old and just the water residue from time has kind of deteriorated its integrity. But after probably climbing for 10, 15 minutes or so, you and Sizik scale to the top of the ladder. There's a small, another small little platform up here, and a door that leads off into some kind of tunnel, like an access or maintenance tunnel. I will note that the door is open, and there is water that's just kind of like slowly, at like maybe 1 or 2 inches, just kind of just trickling out. As if this maintenance tunnel has also just not been used in years, and some pipe along the way has begun leaking and kind of filled up this chamber. But you can pass through it nonetheless.
The sewer system in this city really just needs maintenance.
These aren't the sewer systems.
Well, what's considered sewer?
Yeah, so a sewer system is where the waste is
Ah,
excreted
okay.
and
Well,
taken
the
off.
water pipe system.
Yes, yeah, yes, exactly. The
I'm
hydro
sorry,
station needs
it's
to be
just then called station. It's the same system.
Ah,
Yeah, that's fair. Well, um, nonetheless, Sizik and Paloma, you traverse through a little bit of gross, kind of stagnant water down dark corridors where you have to provide your own light, and eventually, this seems to actually travel underneath the actual like lake that the water mouth sits in, and goes all the way to shore. And this is a access tunnel that was probably built when the facility was first being constructed, and has probably not been touched since then. You push through a kind of a rotting metal door, rusting, and vines that are pushing through it have broken the lock, and you have to push through some brush to get through out to the other side and get back onto the actual shoreline. Um, but nonetheless, you have returned to the northern shoreline of where the watermouth intake facility sits, and Hydroxylvexen in the distance.
where on the map? Where on the map are we?
You're at number 27.
Uh huh.
But
The
if you're,
north shore of that.
yeah, the northern side of the whirlpool area, the actual
Oh,
watermouth.
up there. Okay.
Yeah, you're in a slightly different chamber, but yes. Um,
Okay. I don't know if we can get a cube up that.
Definitely not.
I wonder if it'd be worth it to try and find a magic store and see if they have anything to contain animals like that or creatures.
I do not know if magic store would be place to look.
Where do you think?
I'm sure there is someone more apt for that sort of question. Off top of my head, I do not know. But there was professor of monsters at university in Provanere, so there's probably same here, and perhaps they would have idea.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you wanna walk back to the facility and meet everyone there?
Sure.
okay.
But how long of a walk is that?
Back to the door of the main facility.
Mm.
Not very long.
Oh.
10 minutes or so. Actually, probably less. More like 5. Okay. Well, now Owunul and Altrix are still down in the
Oh, right.
chamber. To my knowledge, they are just assuming that you will be returning with a way to gather the cube.
Oh, that's what we're doing?
I think, kind of. It's a loose plan.
Okay, hold on.
Uh,
We do have the chatter crystals. We haven't
you
used
do
them
have
today.
Yeah, that's true. You have not used the shadow crystals yet.
It'll take 2 charges for us to ask the question and then be communicated the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll
This is true.
1 more.
Yeah.
I guess I'll ask.
25 words. Go ahead.
Hey, do y'all want us to try and go find something to contain the cube? Or, are we just going to try and leave it out? Or lead it out?
So I have 10 words left.
Or do you want us to wait for you or come back down there?
Okay. Both Owunul and Altrix receive this message as you're placing body parts and burning bodies.
Make sure there's a way out.
That's
We
it.
can get it out through there if so. Our best bet will be Silver Lake Wharf to get a container. Or Grand Water Docks.
All right. Paloma and Sizik, what do you do?
I really don't know if we could actually get the cube up that.
I do not think that we would be able to.
Because, like, I made it up the ladder, but I don't know if a cube could make it up that ladder. It was old and falling apart, and also, it doesn't even have arms. How does it climb? I guess we can go to the docks if you want to see if maybe they have, like, a magical box to put it in.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, you make a long trek, all the way across the city. Takes
Wait, it's
an
not.
hour.
Oh, it's the other lake, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
all the way up in
Damn.
Oshivester. Yeah,
Sorry,
long,
for some reason I
long.
was
No,
thinking it was these two right here next to us.
The skies are gray overhead as you begin to walk,
Okay,
and about
bye.
halfway through, it begins to rain. Not a full thunderstorm, just rain. Pitter patter of rainfall on the cobbled city streets of Hydroxylex and Oshivester, creating minor runoff as you begin to trudge through the rain after a arduous day thus far. Um,
It's not like Provenaria though, right? Where like the city floods every single time it
no,
rains.
no, the hydrostructure keeps that at bay. That's what the sewer is for. It drains water into certain places. Yes. Anyway, which one are you going to? Are you going to number 12 or 11?
I guess we'll go to 12 first. Slightly
Okay.
closer.
Okay. All right. Let me get up my description. Oh my goodness, why are there so many? I should complain I did this. Okay. All right. Make your way to Silver Wave Wharf. It is a neighboring the Grand Water Docks, not too far. It's located on Silver Wave Isle, here on Oshievester's perhaps most prestigious dock system. The Grand Water Docks is more of just for shipping. This has not only shipping, but also some harbor catering to the elite fishers. You see some traders going on. The high-class clientele would make their home here. You pass by some seafood restaurants along the way, notably the Hook and Anchor, Azure's Bounty, Silverfin Swordfish, the Moonlit Mariner, and the Captain's Reserve. All just kind of lined up as various restaurants along the way. The smell of cooking fish and seafood from the inside. But you push past the civilian part and more into the actual shipping docks themselves. Now tell me what particularly you are looking for.
Places full of crates, I guess. Or like
Sure. There are plenty of large crates.
That's a pretty
You
great
can find.
idea.
mostly like I'd like to just approach someone who looks like they know what they're doing and ask them like if they know anything about what we're looking for.
Sure. You approach Just a Fisherman. He is, preparing his boat to head out for an evening catch, perhaps in Ocean Shore Lake. Hi. What can I do for you?
Hi. We're looking for a crate that could magically maybe like shrink something
Hey,
and
interesting.
put something really big into like maybe a smaller crate or no, something like that I think would work.
I see. I do not personally have that available for you, but I recommend you head down the road a little bit. There's some magic shops that way that might be of better assistance.
Okay, thanks.
Have a good day, Lassie.
Are the magic shops still on the island?
Yes, they are.
'Kay.
Yes, you journey a little bit, and you find copper-clad Klops, a magic store that also seems to specialize in animals. They have lots of animals for sale, but perhaps the transport of animals would also be included in that. You're not quite sure. The doorway is particularly large, a very very tall and wide entryway for a normal magic shop. And as you walk inside, the aisles are extra spacious. It's a well-maintained area, but the ceilings are tall, 12-foot ceilings instead of the traditional 8 feet. And you see over some of the shelves, which, at your angle of view would have to be a, 10-foot tall, 9 to 10-foot tall person that is, looks like a human, that is restocking one of the shelves. And as you round the corner, you realize that you understand now why this person is so tall. That's because they are centaur. And centaur, known as Mo-Fidja... Wow, I can't say this. Mo-Fidjabaclopoulos, is the keeper here, the merchant. And he is restocking. Kind of looks down at you. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Good. Do y'all have... So we're looking for, like, a special kind of crate that could shrink something big down into a smaller space for easier transport. And also it probably has to be made out of something that acid can't burn.
Interesting. I'm sure we could find something. How large of a thing are you trying to move?
10 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot.
Gelatinous cube?
Yes.
Okay. Strangely enough, this is not the first time I've had to have a conversation like this. Yes, we do have an item that will shrink it down to a much more portable size. We can get it down to usually a 1 by 1 by 1 foot box.
Oh, wow.
I will not lie, though, it is a little costly to purchase an item like that.
How costly?
Now just follow me. He goes back behind the desk and kind of exits into more of a back room, but allows you to follow in there. Perhaps the nicer wares that he can keep an eye on are stored here. But kind of reaches up to the top shelf and grabs one off at about a 1 by 1 foot cube. I think we could probably 500 gold pieces. Yeah, probably.
Okay. Well,
It is reusable. That's the good thing about it.
yeah, for sure. I definitely think that we're interested. Would you be at all willing to lower the price?
Would you be all willing to lower the price? Make a persuasion check.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I can help.
Yeah, you can help if you'd like.
Normally, I'm
I-
opposed to haggling,
I
but
would like to. And
how often does
this
he
is-
sell one of these?
I do have.
Oh, I love it.
I do have advantage. So you can have advantage because I am proficient.
Awesome, because I get a -1 to this.
Actually,
My
then I
God.
should roll then.
Huh?
I should
Well-
roll straight instead
well,
of advantage.
Paloma did
Oh.
ask, so I'm gonna make Paloma roll.
Okay.
Speak up.
Yeah, I have a plus.
Look,
Look,
eight
worst case
persuasion.
scenario, if you pay it, we'll reimburse you from the reward for it before we split
That's
up the
true.
money.
True.
Okay, well, thank God for advantage. That's a 16.
Okay.
It would have been a 6 otherwise.
Hmm.
I mean,
Mm.
to be completely honest, it's not every day someone comes in needing one of these particular items. So I mean, it helps me free up space on my shelves. So
A 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot space. Yeah, so much space, you know.
yeah, I can put something else there. I can put my chinchilla there.
Just a loose chinchilla.
He watches the chinchilla scurries up onto his shoulder.
It is
Um,
1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot.
Minecraft chinchilla.
It's a cubicle. It's... yeah, this is Cinch. My cubicle chinchilla. It- I think we can lower the price down. $350 sound okay?
Yeah, that definitely sounds better. And that can
I mean,
I
I-
pull Sizik aside and ask him how much he has on him?
I have 130.
I don't think that gets us there. It does not. Shit. How much is that? All you have?
I have a platinum.
So that's 10.
Yes.
Nah, we're still short.
You kind of again towering over all of you. We also do exchanges if you're want to get rid of some of your items. I'm happy to take them. I have a 1 by 1 foot by 1 foot space I need to fill. So, and contrary to popular belief, I'm not selling Cinch. He's wonderful.
What did we put? What did we get last time? I don't think Paloma got anything of value in that.
Not really.
Sell something. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm trying to see what I have on me.
How much more do you need?
35. You have 315.
A real shame you stored all that platinum under the
Fuck
floorboards.
up. You don't think I've realized that?
Interesting.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay. Would you possibly be willing to come down to 315?
Give him
I
Sizik as
have-
collateral.
I have 2 basic daggers that sell for 2 gold piece each.
Okay.
4.
I love this. This is great.
So there's 4. You said we need 15.
We need
No, you need
35.
35.
Oh, we need 35. Okay, so there's 4, so we need 31.
I have a
Sell all-
parachute.
Sell all your possessions. Hey, parachute. Parachutes are a little expensive.
I have
Okay.
2 parachutes actually.
I would say your parachutes can sell for like 7 gold apiece.
You just had the. Alright, so it's 7 gold apiece, so we're at 18 of the 35.
Yeah, we're making progress.
We're halfway. How is this the
Oh.
greatest challenge?
This is our favorite thing. We pay for a magic box for our gelatinous cube.
Oh, I have 2 arcane gems. How much are those worth?
Okay, those are 25 gold pieces each.
Okay. So I'll. Oh.
And they're
if those are
magical.
If those are 25 pieces each, then we don't actually have to sell anything
No,
else.
you should. You still should.
Okay, so I'll give him. We'll give him the 2 parachutes, 2 daggers, and 1 arcane gemstone, and that gets
Okay.
us up to 358, and he actually owes us 8.
Yeah, he'll give you 8 gold back.
Okay.
Parachute. I haven't seen those in a long time. Cinch loves to parachute. Are these chinchilla sized?
I'm sure you could make them chinchilla size.
I'm gonna have to do some modification. Anyway, here is your cube.
Thanks.
Spasiba, sir.
You're very welcome. Well,
You
Anything
are
else I can do
familiar
for-
with my dialect.
Sylvan, yes. Not particularly your exact dialect, but I'm familiar with Sylvan.
You are a strange horseman, but thank you.
Thank you as well. Is there any other business that I could provide to the 2 of you?
Not even if we wanted.
Very well. Well, always come back. You're always welcome at Mofa Jabaclopicus's shop, and Cinch will take a pet if you will.
Absolutely.
He
Yeah.
leans down and holds Cinch down for you to pet. He is actually a block. Uh,
What the fuck?
he's actually a cube.
Okay, I pet the cubic chinchilla.
Yep.
Yes, the cuboidal chinchilla.
Cube chinchilla. Yep,
Mhm.
exactly. Well, you folks have a good day.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
too.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Back all the way across the
All
city.
the way across. Yep. Um, it's about this time that Owunul and Altrix have lined up the bodies, burned the rest of the corpses, and the gelatinous cube is moving at a very slow pace, at about 5 feet per round. It just it's just slowly moving down the
Yep.
hallway, and it stops to consume each piece of matter before moving forward. So it takes the full 3 hours to even get it to the pipe before you get back. But while that's happening, now is a good time to take our break.
my
So
God.
we'll come back to all the cube nightmares. Well, thank you all for putting up with the shenanigans, and we'll see you very soon.
Cube.
And welcome back. We pick up with Owunul and Paloma and Sizik and Altrix meeting up once again, having to after having to get a box from one centaur whose name is impossible to pronounce the same way twice, and his cubicle chinchilla named Cinch. That's not important. Nonetheless, we have led the gelatinous cube down the hallway, down the cavern, to a pipe. Where it has begun to squeeze its way and kind of morph its way down that chamber, where hopefully Paloma and Sizik are waiting on the other side to capture this cube inside a box.
Can I just like
So,
meet it in the?
go ahead.
Can I just meet it in the or in the
You can. Sure,
and put
if
it in
you
the
want
box
to.
then?
Sure, just roll.
Because it moves
have
so
it suck it.
slowly.
Yeah, it's so slow. Sure. That's fine.
Okay.
It's a Pokeball, but it's a box.
Yeah.
Won't gelatinous cube, I choose you. Anyway, yes, you capture the gelatinous cube in your store box or stow box of sizing, and let your companions know that you have done so by shouting up the pipe.
I got it. So then
All right.
walk the rest
That's
of the way.
pretty cool. You have safely kidnapped a gelatinous cube. Congratulations.
Yes, I'll just go down the tube,
Down the tube.
head out through the ladder.
Again, a perilous climb, almost deadly in certain places, but I will not make you guys roll again. You are successful, and you escape. I should say, the watermouth intake facility. What is your next course of action?
Well, that takes care of that, I suppose. Guess we should probably look into some of those other names that we didn't recognize.
A crash of lightning overhead, and the echo of thunder in the distance.
Do I fall unconscious?
No.
I'm having flashbacks to that at a time. I'm sorry.
Oh, hey.
We all have-
Owunul, are your ribs still broken?
I just turn and poke his ribs.
Please
Yes.
don't. Please, please don't.
We should probably
Fucking.
do something about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't y'all escort him to, I guess, where was it that we were in Provenary? There was like I think they called it like the temples or something like that.
Yeah, Cathedral District, Temple District,
Cathed-
whatever.
Yeah. I'm sure this place has something similar. This place has a lot of things like
I must
Provenary.
pray to him to protect my rib cage.
I don't know if that will help, but best of luck to that.
It's funny.
I mean, unless you can see my aid in that, I will, as I said, kind of look into some of those names.
Okay.
See if some of them are perhaps here in Oshia Vester.
Mason, is there... I'm not seeing on the maps any sort of, like, temples, cathedrals, or anything like that.
Yeah. So number 15, the Plaza La Fontaine.
Oh, religious center.
It is
okay.
a temple. Yeah, and also though in Hydroxylvexen, number 40 is also a temple, and you guys have walked by that before on the way to Gavavarthid's house and back again.
I just need to learn to read, apparently.
Southwest Chapel.
That one's closer.
Yes.
It's closer. Although 15 is apparently right around the block from the Hydro Haven.
Okay. Well, we can go that way then. If you're cool to walk that far, Owunul.
What?
We're going to the religious center. Are you okay to walk that far?
I need you to understand that I have had broken ribs for like
2 days.
2 days now.
Oh my god.
Well, I thought it was fine, but then it continued to not be fine.
What did you think it was just gonna solve itself?
I mean, most things kind of do.
I didn't know. I never gotten broken ribs before. I don't know how this works.
Alright, well, we gotta collect your horse on the way, and then you can ride him.
I telepathically tell my horse to get over here.
Yeah, you see Cricket begin to gallop across the bridge from the Watermouth intake facility and catch up with all of you.
Ah, there he is.
All right. Well, I guess it's sort of on the way to the Collegium Tidal. I'm assuming that'd probably be the best place if I want to look into some of these individuals.
Yeah, probably. Are you gonna get arrested
although-
again?
That's what I was about to say. Maybe I would be better off going to Cascade and Spire. As that's where they asked me to continue any queries regarding documents or records.
Yeah, that might be better.
I guess we'll start there. I'll probably get there just after Ulysses hands in his report, so
Very
I'll
well.
probably win
all
some
of you
favor.
all of you return to various portions of Ocean of Esther, but Owunul, you are led by Paloma and Sizik to the Plaza Les Fontaines, where the quaint neighborhood is only partially inhabited by not much larger than average temples and cathedrals. Nothing like Provenere, and surely nothing like Brentero. But a number of deities nonetheless are represented. There is a place to go for Helm if you are. If that is where you would go. There are also other temples if you'd like to try that as well.
I think I would go to Helm first.
Okay.
I don't know how much protection is going to help me when what I need is healing, but you know we're going to try it anyways.
Okay. All right. Well, you enter into a small 2-story stone, almost looks like an outpost tower with a flag that flies overhead in the wind, though it is very damp and sagging now. But it has the symbol of Helm on it, the helmet that he wears. But entering in through the doors, it is a small circular chapel space. There is a statue of depicting Helm on the far side, and you are greeted by a female, a half-orc, that greets you as you enter. She seems to be dressed in Waveguard attire of some kind, but most likely a retiree of the Waveguard and wearing more religious vestments at this point. But nonetheless, she greets you. Oh, hello there, weary travelers. What can I do for you today?
Hi.
He has broken ribs.
Yeah, that.
Do you require assistance with that?
Yes.
Very well. Please, come in. Leading you in a little bit further into the chapel and following the spiral staircase that goes up to the second floor. If you could lay down on this bed here, I will fetch my medical supplies.
Yep, alright.
Yes. Are you a follower?
Yes, I am a Paladin of Helm.
Where do you hail from? Which temple?
I'm just gonna roll history real quick, cause I'm just gonna roll history real quick. Oh, that's not. Well, inspiration is before rolling, right?
Yes.
Mason, no.
Do you not know where you went to school?
Sorry.
It's like the one
Riley,
thing
for
you
this-
do know.
For the school that you created.
Oh no.
Oh, that's how he really doesn't know.
Riley, what did you roll?
It's not good, Mason.
DC's got to be low, right?
Surely, right?
This is forgetting cricket levels of low. I need you to understand.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. So with that roll,
How out Aidan University?
huh, from the north in Brentero,
Yes.
well, quite a bit south for that.
Yeah. I didn't know it was a temple. In my defense, I didn't know it was a temple. I thought it was just a university. I didn't know it could be both.
It's quite a prestigious university for paladins and clerics, especially of Helm. I've actually aspired to visit, but I've never been afforded the chance. So here I am in Oshivester. She begins to drape some herbs and some garments on you to begin the healing process. This will sting a little bit. Also, rewind. Can you remove your breastplate?
Sure.
I didn't know it came off.
You filthiest man.
I didn't either. Actually, not. It's surprisingly clean.
The armor is clean. You are not.
As you begin to, it's doff, I believe is the word that I'm looking for.
I be
you begin to
doffin.
doff the armor. Yeah, you should be doffin. You take off your breastplate, and she crunches her face. Oof, that is quite a musty smell. You should consider washing yourself. Sorry, do not mean to pass judgment.
No, past
Also,
judgment, he stinks.
Your shirt will also need to come off as well.
And burn, please.
Alright.
Have you never taken what it?
You've not seen me doff my armor in the entire time of knowing me.
No, but like we have time alone. Have you never taken it off and showered?
The armor stays clean.
Your silence is.
The armor stays clean. The armor stays clean.
Not the important part, and not what I asked.
The armor stays clean, though.
Well. She begins to, as you remove your shirt, she begins to dress you with bandages, and begins to say under her breath a small prayer of healing, and cast greater restoration on you. As you feel your rib move back into proper alignment and the bones fuse back together again. It's a very common practice in magical healing scenarios.
Yeah, just move your bones.
Yeah, you do wince a little bit in pain as it takes a while to cast this. But afterwards, we do have not a very large bath, but we do have a bath if you would like to wash yourself. I would recommend it before donning your armor again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that.
And she looked at the two of you, and you are also welcome. We have a few chambers if you wish to
Yeah,
clean
that'd be
as well.
great. I feel like garbage.
Yes, do you either of you require healing as well?
Um,
Quite a few cuts and bruises.
it's free, right?
It's
Normally not, but for a paladin of Helm, I make exceptions.
Yeah, if it's free, then great.
Donations would be nice, but I will not ask you for them.
I have 11 copper
Yeah,
and this
11
very
copper.
fancy box that I cannot give you.
Any donation is acceptable, and
I'm
not
gonna-
even required. If you
I'm
feel
gonna
led to do
flip-
so, you may do.
I am going to take her hand in mine and
Oh, he's gonna
Put a
pop
plat-
a question.
put a platinum coin in her hand. Close her hand and just take it.
Thank you, kindly. I did not catch your names, and you don't have to tell me if you do not wish, but I am Sister Rin Halbrook.
It is very nice to meet you.
My
Hmm.
name's Riley, and this is my brother Mason.
Oh, fuck off.
You're awful, Anna.
I was gonna go. My name is Paloma,
Okay.
but I like Mason and Riley.
I'm not even make a roll. I'm not even gonna make you roll deception. Just leave it. Uh, she's
Owunul
like,
is just
"Okay."
going to. Owunul just was already kind of out of it before because of everything that's happened today. And the fact that he's
Right.
had broken ribs for 2 days, and that's kind of worn him down a bit. So it doesn't even like register as a difference on his facial expression when he hears this. So he's just like, motherfucker.
Does
Very
Owen
well.
give his name?
Owunul just like doesn't say anything. He's just like, because in his heart he thinks this is wrong, but in
Why
his
is
mind
your
he's
name?
like, this is probably for the best. Question mark.
Well, nonetheless, please do enjoy the chambers. There are towels. Feel free to use them. And she takes you a little further back to the first floor and out one of the side doors, and there is like a bathhouse, almost a small bathhouse that's a little disconnected from the temple itself. But do feel free. All right, and the three of you individually spend time taking a bath.
I'm trying to imagine how long it's going to take Owen off. He's like
Yes.
layer
Scrubs.
by layer. Gotta get all this.
Yeah, scrub layers of dirt off. Yeah, Owunul is not actually yellow. That's just because he's never washed
Oh my
the dust
god.
off his face.
No, he's jaundiced. He's fine.
Awful. Nonetheless.
Enough of this Owunul slander.
Maybe you should wash yourself then.
Yeah, wash yourself of this. Well, Altrix, you arrive at Cascadant's Spire. Again, the afternoon is pushing into the early portions of the evening. Probably 6 o'clock at this point, maybe almost 7. But you enter into the large chamber, which you recall having a bag over your head the last time you entered this place, but you didn't have one when you left. But it is a beautifully decorated interior. High arched and vaulted ceilings, columns of marble, marble floors with blue carpeting, and it is designed like a castle. And you are greeted by some waveguard that are on patrol here. They kind of wave to you. No one seems in particular to stop you. But as you make your way to the far end of the entry chamber, there is a large dual staircase that kind of wraps around up to the next floor. And kind of hurrying down one of those staircases is an individual you haven't seen yet. But it is a blue water genasi. And her hair is almost a aquamarine to a silver tint. It's curled and nicely done. She's got earrings in her stark blue eyes as she carries a stack of documents, and it's rushing down the staircase, and almost stops to look at you. Hi, are you Altrix?
Yeah.
I must note that this is much of a great convenience to me. I was actually just coming to fetch you and your group. The Chancellor has requested personally to see you and thank you for your endeavors. Ulsus has delivered his report. Excuse me, sorry for the lack of introduction. My name is High Attendant Raven Vost. I am the right hand of the Chancellor.
Ah. I'm sorry, I'm just a little out of it right now. Long day.
No, I can imagine Ulsus said that it was quite an encounter that you all had with a criminal. So.
Yes. I was here for potentially related business. I was hoping to speak with the Chancellor.
course. She is a little busy today, but I can take your questions, or if you'll wait a little bit, I was going to go fetch her group and bring them back so she could all speak with you together. If I head to the Hydro Haven, which is where Ulsa said you were all staying, is that where I would find the rest of your troop?
Potentially.
Uh, no worries. Well, if you're willing to stay, I can. You can make yourself comfortable, and I will see if I can go fetch them. The Chancellor will be busy for a few hours, but she will be available this evening.
I guess I can make use of a few hours.
Of course. If you're welcome to accompany me, although it is quite the storm outside.
Sure. It's not like I got anything better to do.
Very well. Well, again, please regale me with your tales of heroic strength as we walk. And she, as she reaches the door, pulls out some device, some tiny, thin rod. But as she produces it, she speaks an arcane command word, and some kind of fabric shoots out from all sides. And this is an umbrella, but an arcanely triggered one. Please, it will shield you from the rain unless you do not mind to the water.
No. I'm rather familiar with it.
I see. I see. Well, she walks in silence a little while, afraid, not quite sure if she should speak first or she should let you speak. So it's just silent, an awkward silence.
Yep. Altrix has open wounds, is bleeding slightly.
Yeah.
Very much out of it.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, the two of you walk quietly all the way back to the Hydro Haven. It is where you find that Rancor is sorting through files. Pura is not here, and neither is Evadin. So it is just Rancor that is just seeing if he may have missed anything the first time that you looked through it.
Fair enough. I guess I guess I could reasonably assume that they'd head back to the Hydro Haven once they're done with the temple.
Okay.
So I guess just while I have an opportunity, I'll just start laying out some things and preparing probably craft later tonight.
Okay. Raylan does not enter into the chamber directly. She waits in the the lobby of the Hydro Haven. Gets some noodles and takes a little bit of a lunch break, or early dinner, I suppose. Thinking it maybe is too much of an invasion of privacy to actually follow you upstairs. She will wait for your troop, and whenever you're ready, she'll leave with you. But nonetheless, back to our three companions that are bathing. Owunul, we can reasonably assume it takes him, 45 minutes or so to take a solid bath. But the rest of you, what is your plans after you finish up here?
Hey, y'all think we should head back to the inn, or maybe we could go. Altrix said he was at Cascade and Spire. Maybe we could walk all the way over there.
I think we should wait at Hydro Haven.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Hey, oh no, I have a question.
Sure, what kind of question you got?
How'd you get into such a fancy school? Was there not an entrance exam, or was the entrance exam just hitting things since you're a paladin? Or did you have to just pray real hard?
I'm
But,
that was a long time ago. Hold on. I ponder my orb mission.
That is
It is late afternoon.
a non-verbal fuck. I don't know.
I don't think this isn't just me forgetting. No, we never came up with this.
Right. So I will let you, as a player, tell me what happened. How did it go? come up with something.
So the Aidan University, as you may have heard the other devotee of Helm mention, is a school for both paladins and clerics.
Mhm.
The qualifications for entry kind of depend on what you wanted to do in the first place. With clerics, it definitely was more about learning the proper healing remedies, as a cleric tends to do, learning protective spells, and generally getting. And in both cases, it is generally getting closer to, of course, Helm. Um, but more specifically, for paladins, of course, paladins tend to be very physical. You have to be able to carry out your god's will, or to carry out the oath to which you have sworn to the universe. So yes, there is a bit of a physical requirement. Being able to run a certain distance without being tired, being able to lift a certain amount of weight. Uh, there is also a religious requirement. There's like general history. Uh, there's knowledge of the god you're trying to follow, because it's kind of hard to follow someone if you don't know anything about them.
So you like scored real good on the physical part, and they just kind of swept everything else under the rug.
I would like to think that I got in on my own merits. I don't know.
Hmm? I'm just curious. Helm gives you your magic, right? Like Helm himself.
Okay, so my relationship with Helm is a little nuanced.
Mm-hmm.
I do not get my powers from him specifically, but although there are times when he might provide a little bit of a divine push, as it were, uh, Helm can guide me in the right direction. But the real source of my strength as a paladin comes from my oath and my will to uphold that oath.
And would he ever take your magic away if you pissed him off?
Well, that's not his to take away. My oath is not necessarily between me and him. It is. Hmm, not. It's. I know that it's not between me and him. I just don't know who or what it is with. Maybe it's just an oath to the universe? The forces that be? I'm not quite sure how that works. But I just do know that if I. Well, I wouldn't piss Helm off.
But like,
It
what if
would.
you did it accidentally and didn't mean to?
If it was something that really bothered him, I imagine he'd probably send some kind of divine message saying, hey, don't do that, essentially.
Mm.
I don't think he would, like, do anything per se. Like, if my intention is to follow the ways of Helm and to uphold my oath, then everything's fine for the most part. Just like don't do it again, whatever it was. But when you get to the like what he would do if I weren't that well intentioned, well, I probably wouldn't be a paladin of Helm in the first place.
Makes sense.
It takes a very strong conviction to make that oath to the universe.
And what if
So
he
it's
like
kind of
real vaguely told you to do something and you didn't do it?
well, that seems counterproductive.
It does, doesn't it?
I
To
mean,
take away your ability to do his will. because you didn't do his will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Sizik,
yeah, it took me a minute. Hold on. I see where this is going.
Sizik, I will remind you, you are right here listening to this conversation. I don't know whether you choose to say anything, but I don't think it takes anyone of intelligence higher than 4 to put together the pieces of what Paloma is
Mason?
asking.
Mason?
I'm just gonna leave.
Mason. It took me how many minutes
I
to catch on?
I imagine we're doing this as we walk back to the Hydro Haven.
Yeah, you are walking.
It took me, Riley,
Yeah,
I am going to
4
walk
whole
faster.
minutes to catch on.
Sizik walks faster. Okay.
Oh my god. How did I miss that?
I
You
don't know,
really are Owunul.
they are the same person.
I see what I do is called method acting. I take my brain and I just like crank it down a few notches and now I'm Owunul.
There you go.
That's what I would be if my brain were cranked down a few notches all the time.
All right, so Sizik has
Crank that
briskly
sword
walked
forward.
ahead of all of you. But after your conversation concludes, you arrive back at the Hydro Haven, greeted by the familiar Brugsy Carver. Welcome back to the Hydro Haven, and what can I do for you folks today? Are you willing to extend your stay with us?
Is our other companion here, the Blue Dragon Man?
I do believe that he did enter earlier.
Oh, cool.
Okay, thanks.
We're just gonna go to our room for now. We might though. We might extend our stay. It just depends on how things pan out, I guess.
Of course. Very well. All right, you head back upstairs to find Altrix, who's laying out things on the table, and Rancor is also toiling through papers, looking very frustrated, but not willing to speak to anybody.
He's looking through papers. That's kind
I
of funny,
don't think
Mason.
any of us knows he can read now. So
Yeah, he's got glasses on, and you just don't know what he's doing.
Rancor, what are you
He's kind of gone
doing with
crazy at this point.
glasses? He's like trying to read the paper, but
he's kind of in like a weird non-verbal state. I don't know if we should pry. You
I
know,
mean, the
he's-
last time he did what he wanted, someone died. Like someone who probably shouldn't have died. So I mean, I don't know if that logic holds, you know.
he's just looking at papers right now. I think it's fine.
Murder, I say.
Let's not put any ideas in his head though.
Did you find anything?
Kinda. I found a I'm sorry, long day. One of the chancellor's not employees is a little too reductive of a term, but it's what I'll use right now. Who was sent to kind of gather us. I just
Okay.
kind of escorted her back here, just waiting for y'all to show up. I don't know how long it'll be till Evadin and Pura get here, so I think we'll just have to go with what we got.
Okay. Yeah. Were they? Wait, were they even? No, yeah, they were here for that. They were here for the
Yep.
That thing.
I'm sure they're also chasing things down or something of the matter.
So should we just go to whatever this meeting is now and then tell them later?
Yeah, I think that's the move. We don't. I mean,
we
run
know
off before. We don't know
know
how long it'll be.
I guess we know basically everything they'd know about it because we were all there. So we should still just be fine, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think they have anything new for us. All right. We'll find her downstairs and we'll head that way.
Alrighty then.
All of you find High Attendant Raylan Voss finishing up her cup of noodles, sipping the broth a little bit, and places it back down on the table. Oh, you must all be Lorem Ipsum, correct?
Most of us, anyway.
I see.
Um,
Very well. Well, the Chancellor is excited to see all of you. If you do not mind accompanying me to Cascade Spire.
yeah. not all of us, but we don't know where the rest are, so we'll just have to make do with this.
I see.
Uh,
That is
I guess
quite all right.
lead the way.
Of course. Please follow me. She scurries on outside. Is there any conversation topics that come up in the walk back to Cascade Spire?
How's his ribs going?
All good, seems now. And we got him to take a bath.
Oh,
It's 2 wins.
oh, yeah. I don't think I've seen him take one.
Apparently, he hasn't been.
Yeah,
I ponder my orb.
it's been a while for me as
Late afternoon.
It is still late afternoon.
well. Oh no, can I see that real quick?
No, you cannot have it. It is mine.
I'm gonna cast
I'm
Eldritch Blast.
sorry.
No.
It's like, you know what? Fine. I found you're not letting me siphon it. I'll just siphon Owunul with it.
Yeah, Sorcerer's Burst. I'm gonna do psychic damage.
Oh, well, it's doubly as effective then.
Critical effect. Yes.
It'd be really funny if it was canon that everyone was just
Um,
weak to psychic.
no, I'm hitting the orb.
The orb with psychic. You're gonna hit an inanimate object with psychic damage.
It's talking to you, so it can't be that inanimate.
What do you mean it's talking to me? No, it's not.
It literally keeps saying afternoon.
That's me reading what's on the orbs.
Communication does not have to be verbal.
It's not verbal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
It's
could know
just telling me the
CSL.
time of day. I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, I guess if that's all.
Altrix,
Make our
are
way
you
back.
Sure you couldn't have had, it benefited from going to the religious district as well?
I don't even know what'd be there.
Healing?
I can. Nothing a night sleep can't fix.
I guess technically.
You don't do that. You don't sleep.
Yeah, that requires that you actually do sleep though.
Every
There
time
are
I've
no
like,
longer any pressing matters. So
every other time I just wake up in the middle of the night for a random reason. I like back in the apartment, I would just like wake up and you'd randomly be working on stuff. Like what?
yes, out of necessity. I do not have any pressing projects at the moment, so do
I
not
see.
worry. I will sleep.
We have arrived. Feel free to use one of the towels to dry yourself off with before proceeding. Not, that is your entire choice.
They just have
You will be
towels
going
hanging up from the
upstairs.
door.
Yes, they do. But
That's fair, I guess. Yeah, sure. I'll dry myself off.
you all begin to enter into Cascade Spire, climbing the many staircases up numerous floors to one of the taller central pillars where you, Altrix and Sizik at least, have been before to find the Chancellor's office. Once again, overlooking the city now under torrential downpour, at least, with the thunder and lightning in the distance. But the High Attendant opens the door and ushers you in, and she nods to the Chancellor, almost as if they're conversing in just an exchange of looks, if the High Attendant is supposed to be present for this meeting or not. It doesn't appear in the Chancellor's nonverbal response that the Chancellor cares whether or not she's present or not. So the High Attendant will just stand by the door on the interior and let you all sit down. Please, sit down. Ulysses has informed me that all of you have accomplished a great task. So I have a verbal report. He's writing written report that he'll submit over the next few days, but please, do enlighten me on what you may have come across.
I guess it's kind of like what we told you earlier. There was an underground facility. Inside that facility, we spotted numerous members of a organization, I guess, known as the Bright Shadow. Among them, one that we had previously encountered back at Provenere, who oversaw one of the production facilities for chemicals required to make the weapons they used. So, pretty strong link back to that.
Yes. It would very well seem that we are dealing with something much larger than I initially thought. Nothing good to hear at any point in time, but not now especially.
Yeah. Tell me, I'm aware that some of these were members on the Council of Provenary, but does the name Galad Wervanian ring any bells?
Vaguely. He served as the emissary to the Voyage Reserve in Provenary. That is the central bank, but a council member nonetheless. One of the wealthier houses in the city.
Very well.
Also did inform me that there was quite a bit of carnage. Was he among them?
We were not able to identify anyone in particular.
I will have to check with my contacts in Provenary to see if Mr. Wervanian is still alive and well.
Do you know what he looked like?
Mr. Wervanian?
Yes.
Yes, I believe he is a Furbolg.
Okay. I don't think we saw any of those.
Okay, well, that is reassuring. I suppose I will have them check nonetheless.
Although there were a lot of bodies that we weren't able to fully see.
Yes, that is troubling.
In any case, we also, I don't know how much Ulysses relayed to you, but back in Provenary, we encountered a mechanical doppelganger of sorts.
Yes, I take it as the same design as Ulysses himself.
Yes. Based on some of the things we found, we have reason to believe that they are attempting to, at least their end goal, and I'm not sure how far they've made progress on it, but to replace high-level members, at least from what we see in Provenere, but who knows where else that extends to.
Right. Yes, the concern, is how do you check for that?
I mean, most wizards, anyone arcanely adept, using simple, magical detection rituals and things of the matter. Typically, you can, most people don't tend to radiate every type of magic all at once.
Right. I will send word to Admiral Thicket and Senator Miletus and have them investigate. I know they are quite busy handling the aftermath in Provenary. But do not worry. begin doing that. Despite the sadness from learning this news, it is also a cause for thanks. I am much grateful that you all would be willing to do this for the public. I know that you may have your own ties involved, but nonetheless, it has been something that at least we can put to rest, I hope. Or if not, at least one step closer in doing that. I regret to inform you that I don't have any physical reward to give you, but I do have a plethora of information that I'd be willing to share. I believe that you have earned my trust. I do not believe that you are in any way corroborated in these activities, or in any way responsible for them. Nonetheless, that does not change the fact that they have happened, and there is some greater power that may yet be lurking, that we have not seen yet. Is there anything beyond my gratitude that I could offer you?
Well, I will leave my companions to voice their own concerns. I originally came here to ask about some information. But I suppose if they have anything, I'll let them go first.
Very well. She turns to look at all of the three of you.
Well, you already said you didn't have any money, so no.
I see. Owunul or Sizik? Owunul. He's thinking. I hope he's thinking. Riley, are you here?
No,
Oh my god.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm actually just gone. I was never here to begin with. Sorry, what was that?
Is there anything you want?
Is there anything you would like to ask or request of the Chancellor?
I don't fucking know.
You can say something about your sister to your dad.
I'm pretty sure. Oh wait. Oh wait. No. Oh, I forgot about that. The pigeon I sent. Ah, fuck. Okay, right. So you can send messages to other cities somehow, I would assume.
Yes, that is a capacity that we have
So-
the luxury of doing.
So you know the Vicarant of Helm?
Mm. She
He's
pauses
in.
for a moment
He,
to.
he,
Yes, he actually is, I believe, one of the emissaries that the Monsignat was sending to Provenere.
yes.
Noro, correct? That is his name?
Yes. I was wondering if you could send him a message for me. Something along the lines of, your daughter is still alive and safe. We're doing fine. Well, you know, something like that. There was this incident where I had sent a pigeon and didn't know he was going from, I didn't know he was going to Provenere, so I kind of sent it back to the hometown, and,
See,
I would like him to worry a little less than he probably is. So, you know.
right. We can send a message, although I will take some time to arrive. But I will have it sent. If that's
Thank
all
you.
right.
That's all I ask.
I don't know when he'll receive it, but
If he receives it at all, it'll be a miracle at this point, because the pattern here is I send a message to him, and then he moves again to some other city. I swear to God, I swear to Helm, if he moves to if he moves to Oshivester next, I'm just gonna lose it and stop trying.
That's very well. I will arrange that.
Thank you.
She turns back to Altrix. You said you had some questions?
Yeah. Although, I'll kind of look over my shoulder back to the, what was her name?
Raylan Vost.
Raylan Vost. Just kind of, again, look back at her and just kind of like,
Are you asking the Chancellor?
should I?
I assure you that Raylan Vost is my most trusted advisor. She handles all of my paperwork and is, quite frankly, one of my closest friends. So yes, she knows quite a bit. So I'm not worried.
In Provenere, we discovered an associate of these criminals. In possession of various pieces of information. Among them being this. I'll pull out the image of the Project Hackathon team.
I see. That would be of some concern.
There are only, as far as I'm aware, 4 people who possess this image, being those inside it.
Right.
1 is dead. 2 of them, we believe, didn't hand this off. Which only leaves 1, and I point to Miletus.
He is. I know him little personally, but mostly as just a work colleague. But in all accounts, an excellent politician and a person with a very kind heart. While I cannot truly speak to his character, I do not suspect that he would have sold information to a band of criminals.
I am uncertain
sake.
if this means anything. Perhaps they acquired this image by means of thievery, or from the remains, the estate of Roughlock.
Right. I do question if perhaps this could be part of the doing of Andrew Roughlock.
Perhaps.
I mean, you have all but given me hard evidence that he sold his information and all the details therein to our external source.
Let me double check. I just want to make sure I have this right. Where is it? Yes. A classified, quote unquote, missive from the Bright Shadow, the organization, made mention of a contact willing to share information with them who couldn't apparently sold out elsewhere, according to it.
No doubt.
And
Roughlock.
based on other things in the file, I have reason to believe they are referring to Project Hackathon. Based on your accusation of treason for him, they sold out. Perhaps they were hoping to receive that first. However, in that same missive, they mentioned that they might have found someone else.
Interesting.
If they are looking for Project Akadon, I don't know what it is. Apparently it's important enough that every nation is wanting to keep their lips tight about it. So I feel as though it is important that we prevent them from getting access to whatever it is. And to do that, we need to know what it is.
Yes, and the only way to know what it is would be to locate where it is and really determine if it even exists. It wasn't a project that I ordered, it was a project of a predecessor, and a predecessor at the Collegium Tidal as well. I mean, secrets passed down through my political lineage, but I was never privy to investigate beyond the fact that it was just hearsay, that it was just some ludicrous idea to try to quell or stop the tensions rising in Hestara. But why Mr. Roughlock would have gone to our allies? It is odd to me. My fear in the matter is that they are intending to uncover, if it even exists, some power that is able to dominate either Provenere or dominate the nation of Fenere as a whole. But it also puts us at odds against Discopia.
We want
for the longest.
Any chance beating them to the punch on this. We're going to need everything. Everything about this project.
Right.
The things that maybe they haven't been able to get their hands on yet.
Right. Well, the only other member of the project that I know nothing about is that of Daikia Rowanwin. Her father, the Grand Magister, I'm sure you're acquainted from our previous visit. It's a very touchy subject when we first discussed it, and that is why I did not want you prying into his information or the Collegium, because I know that it is a heartfelt idea. He is, for the longest time, to my knowledge, believed that she was dead. Likely at the hands of Roughlock or someone else, perhaps, involved in this large affair. She was the project leader, to my knowledge. Unfortunately, I have the files that we know of that were given to us, but I don't think that's going to shed any more light on the current situation. I don't know if it will help you find it any closer. Perhaps, maybe you should speak to the Grand Magister. Perhaps he would know more. Maybe even her personal effects. We investigated their house whenever she did not return after a few years. I say we as my predecessor and the Wave Guard, but they were not able to find anything of value. But that does not necessarily mean that there are none. She was also an esteemed professor at the university in archaeology, in ancient history, so, and also an alchemist. Quite a barrage of backgrounds, but a brilliant woman, and I admired her work when I was younger, before I decided to join into politics instead. But I apologize, I digress into my own personal endeavors. Yes, perhaps speaking with the Grand Magister would be a best course of action.
Very well.
I would say to speak with the previous Chancellor, but he is deceased, and the predecessor of the Grand Magister currently has been was placed on administrative leave after these effects unfolded, after Roughlock was presumed to betray the nation, and for fear, maybe, that there was some kind of endorsement of that. I'm not sure, but all of that was done very hush-hush. But the Grand Magister, perhaps, is the best person to speak to about the matter. He may know the most.
Very well. The previous Grand Magister, what became of him?
Yes. Please hold while the Dungeon Master researches the exact background. I know, I have an answer for you.
Just gotta be sure.
Yeah, I just have to check. Before I tell you something wrong.
Yeah. I had to make sure as well.
Don't worry. Yes, Grand Magister Selka Buckner. She, I mean, the word we use is retired, administrative retirement. But I do believe she spent some time being investigated by the Waveguard, but I believe she still lives in Oshivester or Hydroxylvexum, but I don't know as to where. She was never condemned guilty of any crime against the state. And ultimately, the Waveguard let her go, but yes, that would perhaps be the best thing to look into. The retired and now deceased Chancellor Falcon Grenthal was a predecessor to my office, but not my immediate predecessor. But unfortunately, seeing that he's dead, don't know how much use that will be to you.
Very well. Well, we have some business to attend to, and should we have any more questions or information, we'll be sure to stop by.
Yes. I do have one more question for you and your group. You said you encountered a individual in Provenere that was linked to this group. Do you have any other pieces of evidence that we could perhaps look through?
Yes. In the cavern, there is this symbol. Seem to use it to mark anything that is of their organization. Symbol of the Bright Shadow.
Yes.
If Ulysses has not provided you with a sketch, I can do so right now.
No, I have seen that symbol, although I've never seen it before prior to the time that he has shown it to me.
I guess with that, I mean, I don't really know if there's much else.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
there are two individuals. One, Wolthan, a factory foreman mineral specialist, nicknamed the Shovel. And another one, Azhozal, nicknamed the Titanium Blade. Investor, apparently an assassin of sorts, also linked. I would say keep an eye out for them if you come across them. Honestly, might be easier just to kill them. But, arrest, see what you can find. They are very much linked to this group.
So it's not over then.
No.
Well, I will keep a lookout and let the Waveguard know as well to keep watch. I will be honest, I've never heard of either of those names or those individuals before, never seen them to my knowledge. And if they're in Oshivester, it's possible, but unlikely. But also, this whole incident with the Bright Shadow was unlikely, and yet here we are. I will offer you and your group some permissive letter to grant you access into archives if you need it. You may return to the Collegian Head Hall to ask questions. And I do take it you will likely return to Provenere at some point if you need help traveling there. Do not hesitate to reach out. But that is perhaps the best I can do for now.
All right. I don't know about y'all, but I have some things I need to get done. So.
All of you have a wonderful evening. Be cautious of the storm outside. It is the beginning of the rainy season, so the weather will likely persist this way for another month and a half or so. But be safe,
Yeah.
and I wish you the best of luck.
We will try.
No guarantees, though.
And all of you take your leave from Caspian Spire, unless anybody has any things that they would like to do on the way out. Okay. Well, step back into the storm that is badgering outside. Crash of lightning and thunder again overhead as the storm continues to rain down across the Twin Reservoirs. But where are all of you headed? What are your plans?
Hydro Haven.
Okay. Anybody else? Other than that.
Jim.
Alright. Sizik and Owunul, and I presume Paloma, return to the Hydro Haven. What do you do there?
Die.
I ponder my orb. What time is it, Mason?
Evening.
Alright, time to go to sleep.
Like 6:30.
It's like 7:45, but sure.
Down to sleep. No, I'm just kidding.
Eat.
Yeah, sure, let's get something to eat.
Okay, do you want to eat at the Hydro Haven?
Yes, I can show you guys the fucking toboggans.
Toboggans? What?
The boats. I
Not
don't
toboggans.
know the word, Mason.
Boat.
Help!
But
Yeah.
wait, so you didn't know boat, but you had toboggan?
My brain works in mysterious ways. I can't predict it, okay?
Percy Carver once again takes welcome back. Welcome back. If anything that I look for dinner.
We had vegetables.
Do you want steam? Raw?
Raw with sauce.
What kind of sauce did I need to do there?
What do you have?
What sauce? Sauce? I think of the sauces we had mayonnaise. I don't think about that. We have this new condiment we're trying out a little bit. It's called ranch.
I'll try that. It sounds interesting.
It's quite good. It's quite a bit of vegetable stuff. It's quite versatile on the bed, if I might say so.
It sounds perfect.
The rest of you, what kind did you folks in?
Whatever's cheapest.
Oh, and Paloma.
Okay.
Beans.
Beans.
Rice.
Yeah, they have rice too. Rice and beans. A slice of bread.
Sure.
Okay.
As a
Owen,
meal.
Owen, what do you want to eat? hub. Taco Bell. This is Whole Foods right here.
Okay, now I'm actually hungry because I got to Taco Bell. God damn it.
I'll get that right for you, folks. For the Taco Bell, I'm going to run you 3 copies of vegetables with 1 copy for the rice game. Also 1 copy.
Okay.
I will give him 1 copper piece.
I'll have it right for you, folks.
I will give him 4 copper pieces, 1 copper tip.
Okay. Very well. And in no time, little rafts are floating down the people channel, and you are ready to grab your food and the bar.
I'll Taco Bell.
Yes. Are they good? Let's find out.
Yes.
The writing, their thoughts.
I ate it anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
Before.
Yeah, that's true. The ranch dressing and the raw vegetables pretty good.
It's hard to go wrong unless the veggies are
and then the choco is about average, like your rail and all.
I say for that shit. I favor it.
The raw vegetables and ranch was the best meal in that meal.
It's been eating rations for like the past year, probably.
That's true. Yeah. So like anything's going to taste
It's like, it had any flavor that isn't fucking rations. Let's fucking go.
It's dialect, dude. No, bro, just
God damn it!
you know how parts of the US just use like the wrong word for things, like a little bit of a blur. That's Pharaoh. They also
I used to
rations,
because I have heard her word spoken before. I used to pronounce chassis as chassis. So if you're
when you're Debris instead of debris.
God.
I lost my train of thought because of rations.
Ranch is the best meal, is what we learned.
Yeah. Vegetables and ranch. Go.
Veggie tables. Yeah.
Hey, ranch all the way.
Yep, we know.
Ranch man.
I
still didn't win that, and I'm mad.
I'm so sad that I didn't see that. That looks so fucking funny.
It's on a short for it, bro. Go to that.
That's why I saw it.
Yes. So, anything else the 3 of you are doing while you're in the Hydro Haven?
No, nothing productive.
He went physically to the bell. Would you do it with him?
No.
Or gone after him, I suppose. Okay. Well,
If Sizik goes back to the Hydro Haven, then I will as well.
okay. Very well. Well, if you have nothing to do, you begin to prepare yourself to retire for the evening. Though it is early, it has been a long day for all of you. Long several days, actually. You've only been in OCVS for like 3 days now.
Didn't I have an exhaustion at one point?
You did. The Greater Restoration fixed it.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. But unless, all right, you have arrived. The Collegiate Methodologist was quiet again. A few students and faculty are present in the late evening before the institution is preparing to close in the next hour or so.
I guess before I make my way to the Grand Magister's office, I would like to make a point to kind of like walk by the records booth where I got arrested last time and just kind of like give real quick a stink eye at the person at the booth, just stick it to him.
Yeah, right. Very well.
Make sure they notice me. Be like, yeah, I walked out of that shit. Fuck you.
Damn.
Snitch.
You also, upon getting there, realize that you've never been to the Grand Magister's exact office before. You met him in the library to study through.
You've met him everywhere but his office.
But his office.
I guess just while I will kind of like pour through some books, trying to find anything about any of the some of the names we saw, notably Wolfen, as well as those who were trying to buy the artifact.
Okay. Well, go ahead and give me a investigation check.
Man, I remember in character creation, I was like, should I do proficiency investigation? Nah, that probably won't come up too much. It's like probably my number one rule.
This is literally a detective noir movie at
Oh.
certain points.
24.
24. Okay.
Wow.
Well,
That would do things.
flip some pages to my notes.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Okay. Well, you do not really find anything about Wolfon or the shovel or Azazal or the titanium blade, because that would likely not be in a history book, especially because it's more of a recent development. However, Cypher is referenced as a archaeological organization in the city or town of Archaeum, which, if you recall, someone in the group has been there before. Two of them at one point. Both Crater and Yazira come from Archaeum, but also Pura has been there, because that's where he met them. So you know that. Now, Elrazair Flunefiar is one of the Zeralith of Escapia. So that is the highest station you can hold in Escapia. There are 5 on the Council of the Zeralith, known just as the Zeralith, and he is one of them. So a very wealthy Eladrin individual. And then Kiahi Poplorum is the Vicarant of Corellon, also a very high station for Brontero. There's nothing that you can find on the term Silvar Adranis. Don't know who that is. And you find Melikaok referenced only in terms of a powerful artifact created by their hand.
Okay. So we have member of this organization trying to buy it. We have Venere Provius trying to buy it. Escapia trying to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 motherfuckers I just don't know. One of which being the one who did buy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the one who buys.
I forget who ended up buying it.
Silvar Adranis.
Adranis.
Bought it for 85,000. And I'm assuming probably the reason they got it is they were the only one who didn't want to say, I need to see it. They were just like, gimme. I'll take the chance. Okay. Interesting. I don't know if I want to give that to Venere. I'll just keep that info in my back pocket. I guess if that's all I need in the library here, I'll go find like
I'll also have you make an Arcana check for me.
Arcana check in a library. There's no magic in libraries.
Nope, not at all.
The magic of imagination.
Oof, that's not great. 11.
Okay. Yeah, you don't know anything.
All right.
Okay.
Not much you can do with a 3 on the die.
Nope, not much. It's okay.
All right. I will, I guess, just make way to a front desk and ask about the Grand Magister.
Yes. Well, of course. The Grand Magister is quite a busy man. Do you have an appointment with him?
Not necessarily. Although, just tell him that Altrix would like to speak to him.
Very well. I will send a message up there. kind of goes into like a booth and pulls some kind of arcane device off a hook on the wall and begins speaking into it. Some kind of intra-university telephone system or paging system where it sends messages to various other units within. Says it out. My apologies, I did not realize that he was hoping you would come by. He is up in his office. That is tower number 1, floor 30. It is the Grand Magister's suite. That's the only thing up there.
Okay. With a sigh, he'll turn towards the staircase.
Okay. Yes, and as you walk up the winding staircase, not even noticing the going up and down of the arcane lift, for the second time this has happened. Just in frustration,
tired.
storming up the staircase. Yeah, bleeding out, tired, exhausted. Sure, you have an excuse to not notice it. Would you arrive at floor 30 exhausted? You've actually lost a hit point along the way, just to the exhaustion. And you're standing outside the
fatigue
door, just,
damage.
yeah, just panting. But nonetheless.
Thank God Owunul healed me. I would have gone down.
Dies to staircase.
Dies to 1 point staircase damage.
Yep, that's correct.
Yep.
Irreducible staircase.
Yeah, with that, I'll just make my way to the Magister.
Okay. Push in through the door. It's unlocked, and it is a nice office. Well decorated. Obviously, a president of the university equivalent would have a nice office, a nice large office, a conference room off to the side. There are various books and vases, various swords, various paintings. But he is not even sitting at his desk. He's actually standing to the side of his desk, as if he was waiting for you to come in. Altrix, well, so glad to see you.
Walk into the room tired. It is noticeable that he fully anticipated me to be here a while ago, because he probably anticipated me taking the lift.
You look exhausted.
Long day. I need information.
I have that.
I finished speaking with the Chancellor earlier today. They advised me to actually come see you.
What for?
Project Acadon. I have been granted permission by the Chancellor to learn all there is to know. It is believed that this organization of criminals that attacked Provenere and were even rooted here, Noshia Vester, are also in search of it.
Can't say that that's far-fetched by any means. I actually don't keep any of those files here. But if you will, I preface the following statement is to sound as normal as possible. But if you will follow me home, I will show you her office. In all these years, not really ever sat down to go through it all.
Lead the way.
Yes, and he steps out and waits at the top of the staircase and hits a sigil on one of the pillars and just stands there and waits.
Just kind of like not making progress. Well, I guess I'll see you at the bottom. I will just kind of. So it's like it's just a platform that goes up and down, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna step off the edge and cast Featherfall on myself.
Oh wait, no!
stepping off the edge, pulling out a prototype device from the siphon, a large kind of like glass vial with a exhaust on the bottom, activating almost like a rocket, not quite negating gravity, but
Yeah,
counteracting
slowing
it to an extent.
down. You fall about 15 to 20 feet before a platform just and you land on top of it, and it's rising up. And as it makes it back to the 30th floor, he steps on and looks at you. Why
Oh,
would you
this
do
is-
that?
This thing moves.
Yes. Is that what took you so long to get up here?
It's been a long day. I'm just gonna sit on the pillar, just on the ground, crisscross applesauce.
And he taps one of the sigils on the device, and it begins to lower back down again. Yes, you look quite worse for wear, but I presume you had a run in, maybe.
Yeah. So to speak.
Glad you're all right. You get to the bottom floor, and he exits and begins leading you to the northwest or northeast of the Legium Tidal. You follow him across one of the canals to the Lakeborn Luxoriums, the rather colorful neighborhood where each sub-district within this region is color-coded by housing colored rooftops. So there is a red roof house district, there's a green roof house district, a purple and orange, a blue. It's just they're very luxurious neighborhoods, estates almost. And he walks about halfway into the district, about a 25 or 30 minute walk, about 25 minutes probably, before stopping at his estate. Please, come in. Pulls out keys and unlocks the front door and steps in.
Follow him in.
You can close the door behind you. He flicks on some switches as arcane bulbs begin to and light illuminates the foyer. There is our office as he leads in. My office, but at one point in time was hers. But she did not ever keep her most valuable research here. He walks over to one of the bookshelves and smiles at it before pulling it back, and you watch as the bookshelf swings open, a latch unhitching. In here.
Yeah, she loved her secret rooms.
Yes, she did. You walk inside, and there are cobwebs. It is dusty. And you can immediately tell that it has been uninhabited, untouched almost, for almost 2 decades. There are papers cluttered everywhere. It is it may be an organized mess, maybe just a disorganized heap of stuff. There is maps pinned on corkboards on the wall. There are old lanterns that are long burnt out. Various magnifying glass, various tomes, translations of various symbols, various arcane runic translation tomes as well. Stacks upon stacks of research. This is a life's work kept stored here. And then there's a picture, one that you have seen before. The same Project Acadon team in a frame that sits on right above her desk.
-1. Okay.
You're welcome to take as long as you need. Could I get you anything to eat or drink?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Great, I'll bring you tea. He exits.
Just begin pouring through files.
Okay. I'm not gonna make you roll for this one. Obviously, there's plenty. Yeah, that'd be really sad if you're like, man, I just didn't find anything there.
Let's just find out what I would have done.
Bad.
It was
Natural
okay.
one.
Would have been a 19.
It's not bad. So beyond what you already know, that Akadon is a theorized ancient civilization. There are specific notes, however, making commentary from perhaps her handwriting, that it's unknown where the civilization came from. According to ancient history, it just appeared one day, and it was just there. Notes that it was held by chains, as if it was the chains were preventing it from drifting away. There are rough sketches that she has made outlining what she thought it would have looked like with its chains attached. There is multiple maps as you begin pouring through. Nothing that gives a exact location per se, but hypothesized locations, at least in writing. She believes it is Phenorbia, somewhere on Phenorbia. She rules out the lower two countries as it being as it fits, as you're overlaying pieces of old writings, and it, as you're looking across the map, there's various circled points scattered throughout a region you are quite familiar with, to the north of here. And in a separate document, there is a drawing, not of her handwriting, something depicted from an ancient tome, but it is a crystal, maybe, some kind of polyhedron, perfectly shaped, and it is, numerous sides, far more complex than any crystal you've seen before. And underneath it, it just says anchor. And your mother has made notes of what this could be. Right next to it, she writes possible power supply, ? She writes portal activation device, ? Containing ? Various notes beneath this, perhaps of something of great interest. She also notes of her own intention. She writes perhaps a letter. It's not addressed to any one person, more of a to whom it may concern. But it details her prompt leave after learning that Andrew perhaps betrayed them. And after the project had been disbanded, that she refused to give up hope and would embark on her own journey to find it. She believes and is convicted in her soul that it is real. And she fully intends to do it, if it's the last thing she ever did. She did not say any goodbyes. She just left a letter and went. And after you pour through this for 20, 25 minutes, the Grand Magister returns with a wooden tray, a piping cup of tea, and also just some bread, very fresh bread, and some clusters of grapes. Any luck?
Hard to say. There's still more to go through.
She left quite a bit.
Looking at like her hypothesized locations,
Yes.
does like that map align in any way with the map we found at Tony's?
Now the circles are not nearly as prominent. They're not giant swaths of land, but there are pinpoints within the frostbitten waste that she has question marks around. And one of them seems to overlie exactly with where you are from. Village.
You ever talk about anything up here?
No. She wasn't allowed to tell me information like that. Part of the classification of documentation, I suppose. At the time that she was doing this, I was the vice hydrokeeper at the hydrokeeper command station. It was not in academia yet. Did not have the station that I currently hold that would give me access to that information. So no, she actually could never speak of what she was doing. And that is a reason I left her office untouched for such a long period of time, because one, it was unlawful for me to do so, but two, it was heart-wrenching to step back into this office.
Why the transition?
After she left, I hoped to inspire others by imparting wisdom. At first, it was just to teach about engineering, just to teach about the hydrostructure, and I was a professor of engineering and hydrokeeping at the Collegium. And when Selka Buckner retired, if we can call it that, I was offered a position. Apparently the faculty thought that I was capable enough of doing it. I had not, I suppose, been on anyone's bad side. So they let me kind of climb the ladder. It's a difficult job. And I don't think most of the faculty wanted to give up their research to even take on that responsibility. It's more of an administrative role than it is a teaching role. And I was reluctant, but I also thought, selfishly, that maybe I could find something related to what she was up to and where she had gone to. But again, conflict of morals. Wasn't sure if that was even something I should have done. So I did my best not to pry.
I see.
But a long story short, to answer your question, no, she never mentioned anything to the north.
Hey. Suppose with Bright Shadow now no longer a threat here, or at least for now. Don't have to worry about any of this being taken.
But if there are other people looking for it, they're looking for her.
Yeah. These spots up north, do you know how she derived them?
They should look at the maps on the wall. Takes a long look at it. Not of familiarity, but of studying it over. He begins to unpin some of them and remove them, and gets down to one at the back, a very tattered piece of parchment. And it details not just Phenorbia, but all of Alethea. Minus the Koryox, because that wasn't a place that existed at the time of them studying it. But it is perhaps a map, one of the only maps in known history that details the Arcane Nexus and where the lines intersected. And there's a spot over the frostbitten waste where there is not one but two intersections.
What is
Takes
this?
a long look at it. Don't fully know, but I know a lot about pipework and how intersections and lines and pathways create a system. And if I had to guess, this is a system. I don't know what for, but they seem to overlay with your circles.
Makes mention of a arcane nexus.
So,
There was a
remnant. Go ahead.
book I read back at the university made mention of this nexus. I keep seeing it in books. What is it?
I mean, I'm not very magically inclined myself, but it is I studied it. I've studied parts of it, in theory. It is a remnant of the old world, I suppose. Pre-penultimate. The system that provided, I believe, the tapestry of arcane energy that overlays our world was powered by this. Or at least held in place by it. And when it collapsed, I mean, there were numerous reports across the world that magic didn't operate as proper. I mean, here, just in Oshivester and Dr. Vexen had to recalibrate all of the tide modes, all the dampener crystals. Every single one of the gates that controls the hydro structure had to be reconfigured because they all drew energy from a system like that. I don't know much more about it beyond that, but
Why did it break this penultimate? What caused it to do that?
there's lots of talk that the strain of a continent rising out of the ocean, that is a Koryox, I believe, it perhaps caused it to tear apart.
I suppose I have a lot more questions that would perhaps be better saved for another day.
Yes, I'm sorry that I don't know much more about it. There are people at the Collegium that would know more.
Well, I don't know if looking into the history will help figure out what's going on right now. Again,
History is a powerful tool.
question for another. You said
You think
magic
think a lot.
across the world? Everyone was affected by this?
Yes, I believe so. Now I have read, not read, I've heard of some of our professors. Dr. Brackett, actually, at the Collegium, has published a few theorems on perhaps alternate sources of arcane energy, which would have been nice to know when we were recalibrating the hydrostructure, if there would have been an easier way to do that. I did not enter the academia until after the penultimate, but there was also a inland tsunami that reached Ocean Shore and Vestment Lake, 85 miles from the coast. Now it was much diminished, but it did cause some localized flooding across the city. I did have to deal with that, but also a cause of the penultimate, or a effect of the penultimate.
See. So, Comet Rises ruins this nexus that is a source of magic for effectively the world. Why were we not affected?
I have my own questions for you, but perhaps you would not answer them, but...
There's only 2 sites up north that have the Arcane Nexus,
Yes.
and they're both in the Frostbitten Wastes.
Yes.
Okay, so not my hometown.
No. But it is of note. There is a dot
Yeah.
on the map with question marks next to it.
I guess there's no way of me knowing if I ended up going by one of those.
Yeah, you would have no idea.
You mind if I take this?
By all means, it doesn't do me any good.
I'll carefully fold the paper, place it into my bag.
Yeah. And it's an old piece of parchment. You have to be very careful with rolling it up and folding it.
I don't suppose there's anything else of use here, at least not at the moment. Thank you. Well,
I know you have much to do, and I will not try to distract from you doing such.
yes.
I will. Perhaps it's a bit out of. Perhaps it is beyond comfort, but I know we have only begun to find a familiar connection between ourselves. But you are welcome here anytime.
Thanks.
I'm sorry if it's terribly awkward.
No, it's not much you can do about that. I need to get back to my companions.
Of course. Be safe
No.
in the storm.
Begin to make my way to the door.
Okay.
I'll just, step outside.
As you make your way past the door, you look back, only for a brief glimpse, and you can see the tears that are welling in his eyes. Not sure if it's joy or if it's sorrow or some mix of the two, but he does his best to hold it. And you step out into the rain.
As I close the door behind me, I'll pause for a moment. As I cast encode thoughts on myself, creating a physical manifestation of a memory. It does mention that it's a physical manifestation. Before we've used it as, I can inject it into other people's minds, but it's also somewhat ambiguous to where the idea is that it can be viewed in real space without needing to be injected. And with that thought, pulling out a small collection of parts of crystal, assembling something together, I will... does he have like a mail slit on the door or something?
Sure. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I will just kind of pop it through. It's a small rectangular device.
It's a box.
Mostly encased, with one side having a sort of crystal that seems to be emitting some light.
Okay.
As I personally leave.
Okay. And just to clarify, for the Dungeon Master, is this just so that he can view it?
Yes.
Okay. And so what exactly did you put in there?
I will have put a memory from Altrix's childhood, about 10, 11-ish, of just him working with a mortal and pestle, probably crushing like mushrooms or something. And as he finishes, a hand comes down, taking the mortar from his hands, as he looks up and sees his mother.
Okay, you return to the Hydro Haven. Find your companions. Are you guys asleep yet?
Like 8:30.
Yeah,
Probably.
Owunul's like, yes.
I probably am too.
No, I'm gonna wait up.
All right, Sizik is going to bed. Owunul, I presume, is also going to bed. Because Riley's fallen asleep with his eyes open. Again. Riley, it's okay. I won't wake you up.
Yep. Welcome back.
he was asleep.
That's all good.
Yeah. All right. Paloma, you are waiting up though for Altrix when he enters back.
I don't know what's happening anymore.
All good,
When did you
dude.
ever? When did you ever?
I should probably see someone about that, you know? Maybe I should, you know. Because I feel like it's not good. It's objectively not good that
You
happens.
gotta up your dosage of something.
Yep.
No,
Anti-melatonin.
my heart has enough problems. I don't need more.
Just take straight caffeine pills.
No, God. That would...
As we've established, drugs is always the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, always the solution. Is Owunul awake? Or have you gone to bed? It is 8:30, or it's more like 9 o'clock now, but Sizik has gone to bed.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go to sleep.
Okay. Alright, so that leaves Paloma awake when Altrix returns. And I'll say, for convenience sake, Rancor has gone to bed, and Evadin and Pura have not returned yet.
Let's just not address that, you know, for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's up in the air. Who knows what happened to him? Maybe they're shanked
are
on the
dead.
street.
Yep.
Yeah, of course,
They
of course.
died.
Entering the Hydro Haven, having eaten only tea today. I
And
will.
some bread.
I didn't even touch the bread.
He didn't
Oh,
touch
you
the
just
bread or
drank
the
the tea.
grapes.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome back to the Hydro Haven. Is there anything I can get for you? We're
meat.
still
I
serving dinner.
love that voice so much.
I'm sorry, did you just say meat? What kind of meat could I get you, sir? I got
If
lots
you
of it.
just what do you got?
We've got mutton, we've got steak, we've got chicken, we've got salmon, we've got trout,
Chicken.
I got shrimp, got crab. It's really hard to say all these meats.
We'll go
I
with something on
appreciate
land.
that you're
Just
trying, Mason.
get me a steak.
What about pork? You got pork?
You mean a steak?
Oh, also got pork, got sausage.
Just
Does he have
just
bacon?
large slab of steak would be great.
Any sides on that?
No,
She
Very well.
Meat in pot.
One steak coming up. How
Auto
would you
meat.
like? Would you like your steak cooked? How would you like it done?
what?
You like your steak
Do
rare?
you want it? Do you want it pink or do you want it not pink?
I mean, like red.
Like what?
Wah,
No,
wah,
not
wah,
What?
Not
What?
fully raw, you know, just cook it a
wah.
little bit.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll see it.
Oh, he wants it blue. He wants it blue.
Mason, this is my new favorite NPC.
He's already been your favorite NPC. What are you talking about?
You're right.
I
You're
gave
so
you
right.
tacos the first thing you saw.
He's
Yeah,
lovely. I
the
love
best
him.
way to
He
Riley
won
start-
over my heart.
Just give Riley some tacos, and then you're gonna marry
You got him.
Riley.
Yep.
This is how it
That-
happens.
That's it. You have a husband now.
Brugsy Carver. He cooks up some steak and sends it down a raft for you.
God damn it! I'm hungry
although
again. Stop.
he puts like a bamboo raft, but he has to put like a little elevator on it so that because the plate is larger than the canal is, and so it's like balancing on this boat as it like comes down towards you.
You've thought about this a lot.
Yep. Just grabs
I
it
have.
and almost just kind of resorts to what he's used to, just grabbing the meat with his hands.
Yeah, exactly. That'll cost you 4 copper pieces.
Sick. Once I've eaten that, just head upstairs and give a light knock on the room that Paloma, Owunul, and Sizik are in.
Obviously, Sizik and Owunul are asleep, but Paloma opens the door. I assume, unless
Yes.
Paloma doesn't open the
No.
door.
No, fuck me.
She said, "Nah, go to bed."
Is sleep like a rock.
Sizik is in like the most
Um,
uncomfortable looking position.
Always.
Like head down, like neck bent and back against the bed frame.
That man is gonna have scoliosis later. He's gonna regret sleeping like that then.
Nothing that the spring-loaded leg can't fix.
Yep.
Yeah,
True.
exactly.
He's gonna have a spring-loaded
Um,
spine.
That's the next implant.
He's gonna have a
Uh,
sting in his spine if he doesn't.
We're gonna put it
He's like,
right
boing, boing,
right on the
boing.
top vertebrae, so I can launch my head like a jack in the box.
Oh my god.
It's awful. Anyway,
You'll end up looking
Paloma-
like the doctor lady in Provenary.
Alright.
Oh no!
That's awful. Y'all are terrible. Anyway, Paloma opens the door.
That's terrible.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think I found some stuff.
I think we're going to hell.
I think maybe where we're going next. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Where are we going?
Maybe up north.
Okay.
Frontero might be a good place to stop.
Oh, I've never been
although-
there. That'd be cool.
You're asleep, Owunul.
I know.
I know,
Okay,
but
aware.
some of us
I saw your
mentioned the
face.
Blackbird Grove. There was and then also Bosvalam. I don't know what's going on, but
Bless
the
you.
map we found at Tony's.
I don't remember where that.
Loma, you said
So
you
what?
and Sizik left your home, yeah?
A while ago.
You ever miss it?
I do more now. For a while I didn't. For a while I was too upset to miss it. But I find myself missing it more now. Why?
Oh no.
You miss home?
Thought I did. Now I think I just kind of miss the people there.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? I don't miss the building I lived in. But
Well, I miss my ma, dad, siblings.
how long you been gone?
I haven't had a full keep track, but about a year and a half.
Rookie numbers.
That's a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first year and a half was hard. A little confusing. But you're older than I was. I think you can figure it out. You seem to have done
Well-
well so far.
Well,
And you're not by yourself. You have us now.
yeah. I'm not so worried about me. Just those I left behind.
You're worried they're not okay, or
I don't know. Pulls out the image.
oh yeah.
They're looking
Good.
for the people on this project, and
That one's your mom, right?
yeah.
Which one's the guy you got? Sorry, I forget what Sizik told us whenever he said that Altrix got arrested. I don't remember if we.
That's about it.
That's just the okay. You know the other three?
Well, Mox is in there, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah, you know the other two. Sorry.
you're good.
Kinda. Onyx Miletus. This one here, he's the senator from here. He's in Provenary now.
Was he in Provenary
And-
while we were there, or is he one of the ones that came in to take over the government?
He took over after we left.
Okay.
And then Roughlock. He's dead. So
That sucks.
no. No, he sucked.
Oh, okay. Fuck him then.
Yeah. Fuck him.
Are you?
Don't
Go ahead.
I don't want to go back. But
How come?
well, like it out here, you know? Way more fun.
How far away is your home?
I don't rightly know. Couldn't point it out to you exactly. I think I have an idea though.
But it's here.
Bit of a ways.
It's here on
They don't
Florida?
really. Yeah, it's here. They just they don't like other folks. Try to keep themselves. Try to stay off the maps.
Altrix, were you part of a cult?
No. Just, I don't know, growing up, they mentioned how terrible the outside world was, and granted, kind of is. There's murders everywhere. People prioritize this concept called money over the lives of others.
The government club. Don't forget the government club.
There's all these rules that don't make sense, and you know,
Yeah.
like things were good at home. I think that's what I didn't like about it.
You didn't like that it was good? Did you leave? You left because it was too good?
Well, it's not why I left, but you know, I like to fix things. You know, make things better. And when you live somewhere that's already perfect, you're just kind of worthless.
I don't necessarily think that's the right word for it. Like,
I tried to do things. Tried to make something new or something better, but it would just, quote unquote, create another problem. One that they didn't need. And although that was another problem to solve, and you could just figure out that from there, it was just, they said it wasn't worth it. Things were just fine the way they were.
you should go back to my hometown. Things were a wreck there. There's tons for you to fix.
Yeah, maybe we should swap.
Yeah? If you want to cross the entire ocean.
Well, won't be the worst thing I've crossed.
What's worse than the ocean?
Snow.
Yeah. How far north did you live?
I don't rightly know. But, when I left, I didn't know where to go. So I just chose a direction. Ended up picking pretty poorly. If you ever want to know why they call it the Frostbitten Wastes, I can tell you.
I think it's in the name.
Yeah. It's just cold.
You just kind of wandered up there by yourself?
Yeah. I don't exactly remember how long, but it was a while.
Well, if you want to go home, we can definitely go with you. And I'll make sure you don't get lost in any frostbitten wastes. I have a great sense of direction.
Well, I'm less so worried about that. You know, maybe we'll have to head back just to get some things sorted. But yeah, that's not why I'm concerned.
What are you worried about?
Well, you asked why I left. It wasn't really my choice.
Me either.
Yeah.
They kick you out too?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Getting in the way, making trouble.
I suppose.
Yeah, us too.
Well, we've got a bit of a day ahead of us, so I'll let you go to sleep.
You better actually sleep.
I will.
Sometime in the next 8 hours, I'm gonna come in there and check. And I'm not gonna tell you
Well,
when.
Still a little bit left in the day, so I'll maybe get some work done.
I'm gonna come check.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide it underneath Rancor. You'll never check there.
Nice.
I don't know if shaking the siphon does anything to the inside, but
Fortunately, no.
All right, Buckaloons, time for
I
a
will
wild ride.
Head back to my room, where I have an assortment of materials just kind of set around. Parts for Pura's revolver laid out on a table, as well as a adamantine warhammer that Owunul has kind of, I guess, donated.
Donated is a good word for it, yeah.
Let me find it here. 9 p.m.-ish?
Yeah, roughly.
Okay.
I would
So-
ponder my orb if I were awake.
You know, if I'm still trying to get a long rest in. About how many crafting checks could I do?
Oh my god.
Sleep for 8 hours. Assuming you all wake up, around dawnish, you could probably get in 4 hours worth of crafting.
Please tell
Okay.
me Paloma
Well,
immediately comes in.
You would sleep a little later than dawn if you got 4 hours worth of crafting in, but you could do it.
Yeah. I know I
So 1
mentioned
a.m.
I asked you about breaking stuff down.
Yeah.
How long would that take?
What exactly are you breaking down?
The adamantine warhammer.
Okay, you will need the forge, which you have in Siphon, and we'll say that it's going to take 30 minutes for you to.
Oh. So 30 minutes, and then probably 2 crafting checks after that.
Right.
I'll add up. All right, I will attempt to break it down.
Okay, go ahead and give me a crafting check.
And a performance check. How well do you bust a move if you're gonna break it down?
Oh my god.
18.
18.
Oh, he's
Yes,
busting a move.
You turn the forge up to a high heat for working with adamantine and begin to smelt down the warhammer into adamantine ingots. But yes, nonetheless, you are able to acquire some of the materials back.
How many?
I need to check how many it goes into making the sword.
Warhammer, it's right here. 4 ingots.
4 ingots, so we'll say you get 3.
3. Perfect.
I'm rolling a d10.
I will.
In
For
that
when
many
to come in.
hours.
I will begin a crafting check on an item.
Okay.
I have all the materials
which-
for.
Which item are you working on? Unless if you
I
can say
will
it out loud.
Send
to
it
me,
to
okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Chat. Yeah.
Chat, is he for real?
Okay. Yeah,
I
you
will-
want to just okay, go ahead and give me a tinkering check. Now Sizik, while he's doing that, I will backtrack a little bit. You, when Paloma and Alters were having this conversation, almost against your conscious will, because you're asleep, but in a subconscious / unconscious state, one of your ears perked up, listening to Altrix and Paloma's conversation, and your eye, though not a normal color, a very golden color, but was processing what was said as perhaps some kind of sign for you to think about later. But go ahead and continue, Altrix.
So that first craft check's gonna be a nat 1. So that's a failure.
Unfortunate. Okay, so I do believe that just delays the.
Yeah, it's just a
time.
failure. Doesn't 2
Yeah.
hours are spent.
Yeah.
I'll just go for that second crafting check.
Okay.
It's a nat 2.
Oh my god.
With that, I'm not making progress. I will
Yep.
go to sleep.
Very well.
I rolled a 6.
Okay, so you come in after 6 hours. Altrix, are you in the siphon? Or are you exited and are sleeping on the bed?
I'm at the table.
Asleep at the table.
Asleep
Altrix is-
on the table. I have swapped out a regular chair for the corner chair because it's slightly more comfy. Yes.
Okay. Well,
If he
night.
is asleep, then I don't know. I'll take a blanket off the bed and put it on him, and then I'm satisfied.
Very well. Well, night befalls us. And dawn breaks the next morning on the 49th of the month of Alias. And that, while our party finally gets a long rest, is where we'll close tonight's episode. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week. And as a reminder, the adventure continues. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.